It's time for our first heat race of the afternoon of the entire IAME USA Grand National Championship weekend. The Micro Swift Division, the youngest superstars of our 6 total classes, are getting set to get after it and go racing here this afternoon. So we will be bringing you the action with qualifying just concluding about 2 hours prior for these 7 to 10-year-old drivers. It is one of the lighter turnouts of the total 6, so it'll be probably a little bit less chaotic. But on that same token, the KA Junior and KA Senior drivers, they're split in half through the heat races. The micros will run all together, but Jerry, with the ABCD grouping for fans and viewers that are tuning in for the very first time, can you break down a little bit of what that means with the ABCD groups and how we have divided our KA Juniors and KA Seniors for the heats?
Yeah, so essentially the ABCD format is taking, the A group would be your first, fifth, and I believe 10th, and then your B group would be second, sixth, and then so on. So essentially just splitting, our entire class into 4 groups, and this way we can run A versus C and then B versus D. And, and then through the heat races, eventually the D group will, race the B group, and, each group is going to race the other group, before the, the main events on Sunday. But, yeah, that's basically what that grouping is, Xander, and for all the listeners at home who don't know what that is.
Yeah, so again, that is how the field will be split in half. So you'll race everyone in your group, whether you're in Group A, B, C, or D 3 times. You'll face everyone else in a round-robin format at least once. Now, the micros, a little bit fast here to try and get things underway. Let's take a look and see if this first try will get the green. It will not. So no green on the first time by for the Micro Swift drivers. Yellow flags are going to wave for their first heat race, so that'll give us a moment before we get them rolling. Slate Harrell, a bit of a surprise pole award. It's his first career pole award on that number 88 red and white Paralyn. Big congratulations to him and the Super Tune USA group. That's a major leap forward for that young man's progress, and he's going to get 3 tries at it. I think if there's any session on the weekend that you would want to start from pole for the very first time or get the pole to do it, it would probably be qualifying, because you've got 3 tries, essentially 2 mulligans. If he is a little bit too fast on this start, or if he kind of gets jumped or jostled around in the first few laps and falls back, well, he's got 2 more chances at it. Heats 2 and 3 tomorrow, and he'll be able to try again. But right now, it's a little fast. He's trying to keep Lawrence Perriman in tow as well, and this time by they were able to keep it a little better. So we're racing down to turn number 1. They did start the lap counter, so that's why you're seeing 3 out of 14 scored. That will go against the laps that they had on the list for the heat race. But all of the micros are clean and green down the back straightaway, and it's a move to the lead already for Marcelo Flores on that white and orange SLA Kart Racing Kart Republic.
Yeah, Marcelo Flores is going to go down the inside into the bowl, going to get the move done straight to the lead from what I believe was a P3 or P4 starting position, Xander. And Lawrence Perriman in tow, now going to look down the inside going into hairpin 8, going to get the move done onto the exit. Marcelo Flores slotting in second with, I believe, Slate Harrell in P3 on that Super Tune USA Paralyn go-kart. And Santi Orioli behind in the Santi Orioli OKP KR.
Yeah, Santiago Orioli with a good start. Here's another big move in the last turn, a little bit wide and into the wall. That was Parker Stewart on the Ryan Perry Motorsport Nitro kart. He was getting shuffled back by, I believe, Wynn Godshock and Isaac Carvalho, and scary moment for Parker. He just kind of got a bit out of shape on cold tires, and that has just split our packs apart. 4 drivers away out in front, back to Orioli, and a big gap now to the midfield. Very, very hairy moment, and I'm sure we'll be able to try and see if we can get another angle at that and go back to it here while this race begins to unfold. So Micro Swift Heat 1 already with a casualty, and an unfortunate one for Parker Stewart, as he will not even get a single lap scored in our first heat of the weekend. On the other end of the spectrum, a couple drivers moving up the chains. Dutch Westbrook there was trying to make a move with Wynn Godshock, and I don't know how they've all kind of sorted out. Looks to be that Carvalho's still back at the helm of that kind of trio, but Jaden Francisco is going to shuffle him backwards. He'll go by. Westbrook will follow. That's 4th and 5th. And just like that, Jaden Francisco up a net gain of 2 on lap number 2 with still 12 laps remaining. But now it's a second and a half, Jerry, to get up to Santiago Orioli.
Yeah, and now this group of Jaden Francisco, Dutch Westbrook, and I believe Isaac Carvalho is going to have to get into tow and, start pushing up there as Zane Burgess makes a move there on the 25 of Win Godshock, now up into the 9th position. And yeah, Burgess definitely going to be a driver to keep an eye on to make his way further forward, Xander.
Zane Burgess was in the middle of that packing qualifying. He was late off the grid, and we got a spinner down in the hairpin. Dutch Westbrook's gone around in turn number 8. So Dutch Westbrook, a spin in the infield will send that Bennick driver to the rear. 2 now of the top starters and familiar names from a full national season, Dutch Westbrook and Parker Stewart, down to the bottom of the leaderboard. This is all allowing the top 4 to kind of keep a very calm race out front. Lawrence Perriman's gone to the lead now, ahead of Marcelo Flores in the number 12. A little gap to Slate Harrell, our top qualifier on that super tuned Parolin. Then it's Orioli, and then Jaden Francisco still back in that 4th position with about a 1.5 seconds still, holding even back to Jaden Francisco. When you take a look at the lap time from the last time by, Francisco a 54.15, Perriman a 54.23. If they don't pass at all, that's not enough of a closing rate, Jerry, at 0.5 tenth to make up 1.5 seconds. But we know it's early, and we know all of these young drivers are wanting to get their moment in the sun. So I don't think we're going to stay 1, 2, 3, 4 in this order for the next 10 laps.
Yeah, definitely not. You know, some of these kids are more patient than others, obviously, but you know, it's Heat 1, it's race time, and these kids have been practicing all day Thursday. And, you know, obviously this morning, you know, they're ready to go, and you know, this lead group of Perriman, Flores, Harrell, and Orioli. I definitely. Oh, is that Zane Burgess out?
Whoa, another big moment here in this opening heat race. Zane Burgess. Out to the wayside in the grass on the 55 Sodi. So in Zane Burgess off to the side from heat number 1. And that, again, all of this means that the drivers up front can get a little bit of an easier run to that super heat on Sunday morning and the main event grid when you've got some of the big names going out in heat 1 and having to make up for that result. I mean, this is going to be, again, a 15-point result for Zane Burgess, because even though Dutch Westbrook had the spin, the only driver that has failed to continue from his moment was Parker Stewart. And you can still see the barriers up there at the top of the hill from where his kart went into the blue and white kind of wall. So all of it, again, everything we've been talking about so far, and so many moments already, and we are just 5.25 laps into the 2024 IAME Grand National Championship. We're about to be 5.5 with another lead change. Marcelo Flores back to the point there on the number 12.
Yeah, Marcelo Flores going to get the move done in the SLA kart there, and I believe Slate Harrell is going to follow him through there in the Super Tune entry with Lawrence Perriman behind him. So Santiago Orioli also there in 4th. And Slate Harrell just had a little bit of a move there to the inside, going to get back in the line, just take a little bit of a look there. Is now Orioli's to the left of Perriman, and they're going to fall back about 3 or 4 kart lengths from the lead too. But yeah, not too bad of a start here to our first heat race, Xander. Micro Swift underway.
Yeah, we're just getting to halfway. Jaden Francisco right now, wicked fast here. Last time by, he and Sterling Mulata put 4 tenths on the leaders. A 54.15 for Francisco, 54.14 for Sterling Mulata on the Bennick. They were both at one point about a 0.5 second further back from this main group. They are charging towards the front. And Marcelo Flores and Slate Harrell, obviously, they were able to either get the signal from the fence line or sense it themselves that with Lawrence Perriman at the front, they were going to be hunted down shortly. So now they've tried to both go by the 28 and see if they can't break away together. And they've already pulled a couple car lengths. The downside is the damage has been done with Orioli and Perriman falling back a little ways from them. That's actually going to help Jaden Francisco and Sterling Mulata. You'd think it'd be a little counterintuitive, but they're kind of going to bridge that gap. And now they don't have to be within a second of the leaders. They're only going to be within a second of the top 4. As there's a look at the fence line for the Microsoft opening heat race. Everyone trying to keep a tab on what this track is doing. We've heard a variety of different feedback throughout the weekend. They were able, all classes, to get plenty of time at this condition of the day and even later. Last night, practice went till 9:30 p.m., but we know things can change in a very short amount of time when it comes to the grip levels on the surface. So even if you're not rooting for or against any of the drivers on the racetrack, you'll see plenty of drivers like yourself wanting to go to the fence, try and see what the karts are doing, what the track's doing, and, well, what's it racing like? Lawrence Perriman there tried to make a move in turn 8, and there was enough grip for Slate Harrell to send it a little deeper and hold that second spot.
Yeah, and like you were saying, Xander, Sterling Mulata still purple, and behind Jaden Francisco in tow in fourth there. It seems like Jaden Francisco and Sterling Mulata are slowly getting closer to this lead group as now Harold goes down the inside on Marcelo Flores, and he's going to go to the P1 spot here with 4 to go.
4 laps remaining for Slate Harrell, the top qualifier. This young man has done a great job in his first race session on the national level, leading the field to green. A little bit of a fast first attempt at the start. Could he pull off a heat victory, his first on the U.S. National Tour, to back up his first National Pole Award? He's got 3 drivers lined up behind him right now, 2 more at least on the way. Jaden Francisco, most notable of them all. He reset his personal best again last time by. Again, another 4/10 gain for the number 30. He will get there. He's almost there already. And as they head up the hill, it'll be 4 laps to go, 9 laps complete in this 13-lap Micro Swift heat race. Here comes the pack down the start-finish line straightaway.
Yeah, down the start-finish line straightaway. Marcelo Flores going to look to the inside with Lawrence Perriman following him through into the second position. A lot of jostling up at the front. And, if you're in this lead group, you definitely don't want to be leading coming into that last lap because of how strong the tow is. As I say that, Perriman down the inside with Harrell going to follow him through. Orioli trying to also follow him through. He's going to get shoved back to the outside a little bit there, going to fall into the fourth position. Francisco now into the 4th position, going to take that from Orioli. And, Francisco on his way to the front.
Let's take a look at the biggest movers here. Sterling Mulata up 5. Francisco now is up a net gain of 3 on that Ryan Perry Motorsport Nitro kart from 7th now to 4th. And again, he had to make up a pretty big gap to get there. This time by, it'll be 3 laps to go. You can see the lead pack is all together. Lawrence Perriman and the BJR MDR crew trying to get a heat race win. He'll lead them with a big shove from Slate Harrell, who had a little look. He thought about it, Jerry. He wanted to go in turn 1. He tucked back in ultimately.
Yeah, it's really just a game of where do you want to be on that white flag. But, it's tough because with all these drivers together, you might get attacked from behind, and sometimes the best form of defense is to attack.
And you saw Jaden Francisco there. That was the first bit of forward momentum that kind of stopped or didn't work out for him, making that move on Marcelo Flores. A defensive kind of slamming the door move by Marcelo cost him some ground, but Slate Harrell, well, he's going on the offensive. Lawrence Perriman will let him through, and the 88 is back at the helm, headed down into turn number 9. So through the back double right section, they'll get up to the hill. And now, in terms of offense, Sterling Mulata is there. He's on the cusp of Orioli for the 5th spot. All of them together as they hit the line. 2 laps to go. You can see Flores is answering. He wants 2nd. He'll have to settle to follow Perriman, and he will get it as Lawrence goes back to the lead.
Yeah, Lawrence Perriman on the BJR MDR kart going to go back to the lead here, Xander. And looking back here to the second group now, well, not really second group, they're basically there, but Jaden Francisco is going to go look for the move there on Slate Harrell. Not going to get it done through the bowl this time around. And, we're getting close to crunch time where it's we're going to see this, second group, Isaac Carvalho back, slowly inch their way closer to this lead group.
Yeah, as they head down into the infield hairpin, I'm more surprised about anything here that none of these young drivers are defending, but Lawrence Perriman a bit wide. Flores going to get through almost, and yes, Harrell now to the wayside. He'll lose 2nd, maybe 3rd. Orioli had a nose. He's going to run out of momentum. Francisco, high, low, opens the door. Mulata gets through on the Canadian. White flag in the air, and now the defensive driving begins, but Flores is not low enough. Lawrence Perriman back to the lead in turn 1.
Yeah, once again, just like the last lap, Perriman back to the lead here on the white flag lap, going up the hill into turn 2 now down to the bowl. Orioli looking to try to take 2nd. Perriman's going to cover off the inside from Marcelo Flores. He's going to cover it off, and now going into the 5 and 6 complex.
Still side by side in 5 and 6. Sterling Mulata is going to drop all the way back into that 6th position. Perriman a little sideways. Last time into turn 8, he didn't hold on to the brake pedal enough. You can bet he's going to try and park it on the apex. He's still going to get over under this time, going a bit low, and Flores is back to the lead. Harrell into 3rd. He's on the cusp. He'll give a big shove to Lawrence through turn 9. And it's not over. Marcelo Flores, 1 turn to go. Can he hold the lead? Perriman with a nose down low. Harrell to follow. Side by side as they all go wide. Flores kept the momentum up. He'll win the heat race at the line.
Yeah. Good good win there for Marcelo Flores, able to get the move done in that last corner. Lawrence Perriman in P2, Santi Orioli P3, Jaden Francisco P4, Slate Harrell P5 after starting on the pole position, Win Gottschalk P6, Sterling Milano P7, Isaac Carvalho P8, Camilla Canache P9, and Zev Gottschalk P10.
Well, let's take a look back here. We obviously saw Zane Burgess going out there early. We unfortunately also saw Parker Stewart with an early exit on lap number 1, going out in 16th. So those two drivers with a rough run, but a great battle there at the end for our very first heat race on the weekend. Let's take a look back at the Coastal Link Custom Printing race recap here from the first heat race with Micro Swift, the first of our 6 divisions. And that was a lot to talk about in 14 laps here. First, a very fast start on the first time by. You saw race director Justin Dittrich wanting to keep the kids nice and slow, and the second time was pushing it, I think, Jerry, but it ended up being okay. And we were able to watch, unfortunately, Parker Stewart hit the wall, but Slate Harrell lead a clean start. Parker there was hanging on tough on the outside in 11. He went around, and then so did Dutch Westbrook with a big spin under braking in turn 8. And then later on, Zane Burgess with a mechanical failure took out the winningest Micro Swift driver on the season in the first heat race. He'll get 15th. Parker Stewart 16th, and then this awesome last lap battle, and it went all the way down to that final corner run to the line with first Perriman back through in turn 1, the last turn with him down the inside, and it was still Marcelo Flores winning the run to the checkers by keeping the momentum spun up on the high side. Great run by Marcelo. First national heat win, I think, for that young driver under the SLA Kart Racing banner and Kart Republic over Perriman, Orioli, Francisco, and again the pole man, Slate Harrell, will get credited with a top 5 from his opening heat race, leading quite a bit of laps. Now, mentioned again, the KA Juniors, well, they were split in half, so this is 2 of the top 4 overall qualifiers. Ty Fisher on that lime green Race Lab Karting TV. The last time he was on your screen, well, he didn't even make it out for qualifying an X30 Junior, but he had to quickly reset during the lunch break here in the afternoon and say, you know what, I've still got one heck of a shot in KA, and it's a long weekend in X30 Junior, and I think that's I talk about this a lot, Jerry. There's so much to this game that is mental, and especially when it comes at you so fast and you're trying to out-chess match the other drivers, being mentally tough and you know, not letting the highs get you too high and the lows get you too low is what really, I think, makes a complete driver.
Yeah, like you were saying, Xander, it's a little bit like the circus, right? It's a little bit like a balancing act. You know, you can't stay too high on your highs, not too low on your lows, like you said. And you know, you really gotta pick, you know, your points of when you're gonna go, and you gotta know when you don't need to go, because sometimes it's smarter to sit in line and you know, follow someone, you know, and push them forward to that next group, you know, if that's the scenario. But, you know, yeah, it's really just a balancing act of, do I need to go, do I need to sit, and you know, you just gotta know what you need to do.
There's a look at Enzo Vidmontien here with team driver coach Jonathan Kotick. Juggy, as they call him, getting ready to line up and head out onto the racetrack. The 895 rolling from the inside of row number 2 with plenty more ready to roll here from the KA Junior A versus D heat. The track still getting cleared from those Micro Swift drivers. Now the engines will fire, and we'll get set to bring you the lineup as they roll onto the racetrack. Forrest Adams on the outside of Ty Fisher right there on that BJR MDRLN kart. A partial national season for Forrest, but home turf for the 806 or the 808, sorry, among many here who have either relocated like Forrest from the Pacific Northwest to Mooresville, North Carolina to Race City, USA, or have grown up here at this fantastic racetrack that has now celebrated nearly a full 15 years of operation. Trackhouse Motorplex has become a mainstay in the U.S. karting scene, became that very early on, and since then, a healthy club, national events, week in, week out, year in, year out, and we're getting ready to see another one of those national event heat races with one of the most entertaining, one of the most unpredictable divisions on the U.S. National Tour, KA 100 Junior. Let's take you through the starting lineup here for the KA Junior field, groups A versus D. We've got them pulled up, or we can show you. It'll be Ty Fisher rolling off on the inside of row number 1 again of Forrest Adams. And then on back, Enzo Vidmontien and Travis Pettit will make up row number 2. Looking further on, Nathan Dupuis, Yago Lempin was the RPG Cosmic we saw on the outside, rolling from 6. Jose Alejandro Helfen and Luca Brancati back on row number 4 in 7th and 8th. And then Jackson Gibson and Edgar Rodriguez completing your top 10, Jerry.
Yeah, and on to the 6th row, Alexander Young next to Young, Isaac Malcolm, Little Scissor we like to call him. Row number 7, John Antonino with MPG Motorsports and Remy Andretos in the Sodi Kart USA. Row number 8, Keith Lewis Jr. next to Samuel Newell. And row number 9, Emerson Lane next to his teammate Benham Abernathy on the BD Hope driver Kart. And, row 10, Maverick McKenna rounding out the field for K100 Junior Heat 1, A versus D.
So again, this is 1st overall in qualifying Ty Fisher and 4th overall in qualifying Forrest Adams. That will be on the front row. Unfortunately for Forrest, the qualifying P4 in the split group format, probably the worst spot of the top maybe 6 positions to be in, Jerry, because he's got to go from the outside of the front row for all 3 of his heat races. Ty Fisher will get the inside lane for all 3 heats. And then the drivers that qualified 2nd and 3rd overall, well, they'll start either on the inside for 1, outside for 2, or inside for 2, outside for 1. In any case, again, Forrest, he's on the outside for all 3. Hopefully, he can make it through turn number 1 cleanly. The micros were able to do it. The young kids set the bar for the juniors. And there are 18 that have crossed the pit lane timing loop at least. Back to Maverick McKenna, so that makes me think that we might be missing 1, either off the timing charts or from the racetrack. But just doing a quick count, and I think it is right around 17, 18, maybe the full 19. You can see Benham Abernathy there at the back. I think Maverick McKenna might be on the 817 Sodi there, lined up towards the tail. So a slow crawl for the Race Lab TV of Ty Fisher is going to have them all lined up. Much different from what we just saw in that microswift heat race, Jerry.
Yeah, that microswift start was, definitely a little too fast for the first time around, and maybe even a little bit the second time around, Xander. Now coming down the tram lines, looking for the green flag in K100 Junior. Are we going to get it? Green flag is out in K100 Junior. Ty Fisher immediately going to go to the inside. Enzo Vidmontien going to slot in the line. Forrest Adams, Nathan Dupuis, and I believe that's Travis Pettit in the 5th position. Now going down to the ball, sliding up through turn 3. Going to cover off a little bit for Ty Fisher. Didn't really need to, but it's definitely, you want to be safe and cover that off when you're in the lead on that first lap, Xander.
Yeah, you just don't know exactly how big of a run someone's got behind you. You know, everyone's kind of at different varying points of how well they were able to kind of keep their carts wound up or not bog them down off that start. But again, even still in turn 8, Ty Fisher taking about 6 cars down to the inside in that opening hairpin. Even low in turn 9, and we got contact behind him. Yago Lepin's involved. Another one of the RPG Cosmics involved as well. And Isaac Malkiewicz involved. Edgar Rodriguez involved. About 4 of them going out on the double right-hander. The 833, Yago Lempin started 5th. He'll go all the way back to about 16th at the end of the opening lap. And on the other end of the spectrum, how about that start from Nathan Dupuis on that Sodi Racing USA number 841. He's up to 3rd. Big mover to start. And, well, he's going to pick up another one as Enzo Vidmontien goes to the lead. Dupuis to 2nd. Forrest Adams side by side, but no gap to get in for 3rd. He'll drop back in line to 4th.
Yeah, Ty Fisher's going to be able to slot in and get that P3 position over Forrest Adams. And yeah, Enzo now down to the inside. Fisher's going to go even lower on Dupuis. Going to get the move. Travis Pettit trying to follow him through, his teammate there in the Race Lab TV Kart. And yeah, not going to be able to get the move done. He's going to have to slot in behind Forrest Adams there in the 5th position. But yeah, Xander, this is giving Enzo Vidmontien the gap. And, you talk about it all the time with, how smart he is, when he gets to the lead. And, sometimes he's able to just, come out of the storm P1.
We'll get to hear a little more from Enzo as he will be joining us in the booth later on tonight for one of these shootout sessions for the CNC Performance Engineering KA100 shootout for the seniors. Right now, though, he's under heavy fire from the rest of the juniors, and that was a 3-position loss, a big answer from Ty Fisher after going back to the P3 spot by the end of turn number 8. So down into the infield hairpin, Enzo's already trying to answer back. It's one big battle pack, side-by-side action. And, well, we're going to go side-by-side for a moment as well. Down to Caleb on pit lane, who's caught up with Chase Gassiet-Lee. He's lined up in the other half. Heat 1 for groups B and C. And get an idea of what's going on through Chase's head.
Thank you, Xander. We're here with Chase Gassiet-Lee. Chase, already a hectic start to this race, but one of the big things that you're noticing about how this track is racing this weekend?
I mean, I think people are just going to go crazy the first heat, but I don't think there's a really big point of blocking and wasting the tires for a session. So I think I'm going to try to push away with Murphy and get away somehow.
Yeah, and that's one of the big things, right? It's hard to get away at a track like this with a big drafting opportunity. So what's the game plan going into there? Any blocking? I mean, you said obviously not on your game plan, but you know everybody else is going to be doing it.
I mean, I just hope Murphy doesn't go to the white line the first 5 laps like Enzo, but hey, we'll see.
All right, well, there you guys have it. Chase Gassioli looking set to go green in a couple of moments' time. Back to you guys.
Chase put it pretty bluntly there, Jerry, but can't blame him. I don't think there's any less fun that you have in a go-kart race than being in the middle, 3rd, 4th, 5th, anywhere on back, and the leader is just going to the white line at every single passing zone. Now, they have gone back to the normal groove a little bit, and I think it's an adjustment for these KA juniors because 14 laps is more or less about 12 or 13 minutes. That is the length of a main event at some club races, and it's the length of some heat race, double of some of the heat races. So they're not used to having that much time that, yes, anything can happen. Yes, there could be a wreck for 3rd if you fall behind 3rd. That,
Riley,
all of
only
a sudden
thing,
could really take you out of contention. But
I guess while I was getting
14 laps
feedback
is
from
a lot
Chase,
of time with a lot of passing
I could
zones
hear you
at a
just a
draft,
little bit. So
dependent racetrack like Trackhouse Motorplex. There's no rush, I would feel like, to get to the lead, Jerry.
Yeah, especially when there's still 8-9 laps to go. You don't need to rush. It's really like that 5-4 lap to go marker where if you're in a group and you have the pace to get to the front of it, that would be you'd be like, okay, now I need to go. But with these juniors, it's kind of unpredictable, right? You kind of know driving styles. You know how certain drivers drive. And, it's really just situational depending on where you are. But like you said, being in, like, the middle of that group, it's a lot tougher than, being at the front of it.
Yeah, it's tricky because you just, you're not in control of your own destiny. I think that's the, the real devil's advocate argument to say, push, stay in line because, again, Enzo Vidmontien going into the lead right there. Off for the 852 or 862. It might have been the 858 of Keith Lewis Jr., but I think that was the 862 of Samuel Newell. Enzo just got to the lead, now got put in the wayside, and we got 3 karts together. John Antonino Jr., Travis Pettit, Luca Brancati, all colliding in turn number 9. Big impact there as they all got stuck together. Heavy damage to John Antonino Jr.'s MPG Kart Republic. And Travis Pettit was frustrated with both of them, giving them a big thumbs up, saying nice work to all of them. And Enzo Vidmontien, I thought he was going to be the worst one out of that corner. He's still struggling to get the dirt off the tires, but at least he's still running, Jerry.
Yeah, I mean, it kind of just unfolded all right there, Xander. We just seen 3 of our top runners' days essentially just ended here, for Friday. But, on the bright side, they still have 2 more days to work their way back forward and get some solid finishes for that main event Sunday.
A little more side-by-side action behind. We talked about the couple drivers that'll be starting at the tail end of the field at the beginning of this heat race. Well, let's see how they have moved up. How about Maverick McKenna up 10 positions. Benham Abernathy up 9. That's already picking apart half of their grid. And remember, this counts basically double because you've got half the field together. So for all of those drivers in 6th and 7th, up a ton of spots. And Maverick is up 12 positions now. He has literally gone from dead last to almost on the cusp of the leaders. Vidmontien, they're making that move. That's for 4th on Luca Brancati for 5th, or Aiden Young, sorry, for 5th on the RPM Tony Kart. Ty Fisher, Dupuis, there's your top 5. But if you go back, Maverick McKenna is now within about a second of the lead, and he started in 18th. What a great drive forward for this young man.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely solid. We did have a little bit of chaos, but, you got to give props where props is due to be able to move that far up in a really unpredictable junior field. So, you got to give props where props is due. And I think we're looking on 5 or 6 to go here. We're currently watching the fight for the 6th position with the 817 of...
So that's right there. Maverick McKenna, Benham Abernathy, he's in that kind of turquoise and green, Holtz DD Tony Kart. And then on the end of that group, Remy Andretos. He's actually made a change. He's on the Trinity Karting Group, Kart Republic, I believe. So we'll get some of those team logos and chassis updated by the time they go back onto the racetrack for either the Fast 5 shootout and or heat number 2. Now again tonight, there are 2 additional shootouts, 2 support class races leading into that CNC Performance Engineering KA shootout. Each class of the 6 in the roster will get to run over the course of the weekend for a little side cash as kind of an extra all-star race. In the junior and mini micro categories that'll be running as the undercard for our senior shootouts tonight and tomorrow, it's the top 5 after the points have scored. Today would be Heat 1 and qualifying combined. Tomorrow would be all 3 heats in qualifying combined. That would make up the automatic qualifiers, and then there's 2 promoters picks that are that specialty pick for Eric Jones and IAME East. Chris Nachman as well tonight, sponsor with the CNC PEK shootout. MG Tires and the GM at Trackhouse Motorplex, their crew, they all can kind of get together, including the officials, and say, hey, this guy, he was fast, he had a rough go of it, we'd like to see him in the shootout. So there's 2 promoters picks that are kind of that extra option. And then, of course, for KA Senior and X30 Pro, in their bigger shootout, that's 10 that qualify, 2 promoters picks. And then there's the fan vote, which is still going on right now to try and vote your favorite KA Senior driver directly in to the shootout. So 5 to go right now, the 14 laps complete. 4 to go, working lap number 11. We've been watching the difference of position a couple of times. Enzo Vidmontien's gone as far back as 5th. He's been shuffled into the dirt. He's driven back up to 3rd, and he and Forrest Adams, if you look at lap times as of last time by, well, they were a little bit quicker than the race leader by about a 10th. So they're chipping away at Ty Fisher and Nathan Dupuy's gap, but they may run out of laps if the battling doesn't start soon.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like a little bit this lap, now that Enzo has gotten by Forrest, he seemed to pull away a little bit. That might just be a little bit of a setup issue with Forrest Adams. He might just be a little too tight at this point in the race, or maybe he went a little too high on tire pressure. You know, whatever the deal is, he just doesn't seem to be able to get to Enzo's bumper to push him back up to this lead 2 of Ty Fisher and Nathan Dupuy. But it looks like we're going on 3 to go next time by. Ty Fisher currently in the lead. And I want to look back a little bit here to Isaac Malcourt if we can find him. He was in that first wreck sander. I believe he's rebounded his way into the top 10.
Yeah, Isaac Malcuit, great moment to catch up on there, Jerry. 9 seconds back from the leaders right now is that PSL Bureau Art, but he is up and into the top 10. You have to go back a little ways there to find him, but there he is. He has just gone ahead of the 858 of Keith Lewis Jr. So move him now and up and into, that's Edgar Rodriguez on the 846 Cosmic. So move Ike up to 10th, Rodriguez 11th. Both of them, I think, were both Isaac and Edgar, both involved in the incident. From what we can see from the angle, though, it looks like the steering wheels are straight, so at least they didn't suffer too much physical damage. The lap times they're running, not really too bad. Last time by 50.6. That's about a couple tenths off the lead pack, but that's as fast as what Forrest Adams just did in the wake of Enzo Vidmontien, so not terrible, all things considered. But with 2 laps to go, they're probably going to end up right where they are right now at the best. 2.5 seconds away from Keith Lewis Jr.'s Kart Republic, and even further away from the lead group. And Enzo Vidmontien as well. He was, like you said, starting to make up some ground, but losing his dancing partner in Forrest Adams, kind of driving away from Forrest, and Nathan Dupuy being very patient up front made it very difficult. But Ty Fisher's also making it difficult on Dupuy. He's kind of hit the afterburners and is holding him at about a car length gap right now with 1 lap to go.
Yeah, white flag in the air. Ty Fisher currently leading with Nathan Dupuy in tow, leading us up the hill into turn 3. And now down the backstretch going towards the bowl. Ty Fisher doesn't really need to block here. He's going to have plenty of space. Pretty comfortable going into the corner. Now leading us out of the bowl, Xander.
Now, I do believe there are some penalties incoming. One is headed for the 836 machine. Another one headed for the 812 of Luca Brancati. And the last one headed for John Antonino Jr. in the 893. So the results will be unofficial. There will be some intervention, but we've got already a fight on our hands for the lead. Side by side to turn 9. Fisher trying to pinch Nathan Dupuy to the high side. Enzo's going to get a bit of a late run at him, depending on how the last turn goes. I think Ty's got it good, though. Out of 11, Ty Fisher, Heat 1 winner for KA Junior Groups A and D. Dupuy, Vidmontien, Adams, great performance from Aiden Young on that RPM Tony kart. And again, can't say it enough, Maverick McKenna on that Sodi from dead last to P6. Heck of a charge forward for Maverick. Nicely done. Benham Abernathy as well. Plenty of spots moved forward. Remy Draytos, Keith Lewis Jr., and then again, Malcuit, Rodriguez. Iago Lempin did continue after the wreck. He must have had a little more damage. We saw him really way off the racetrack. Heartbreak for him from starting in the first couple rows, and then a variety of DNFs. So let's see how they all kind of ended up that way with our Coastal Link recap once again of what just went down in KA100 Junior Groups A and D, our second heat on the day. And it was a good start, and we thought we were in for kind of a clean, maybe a bit of a battle-oriented show with Ty Fisher, Enzo Vidmontien, a couple drivers that have given us a lot of action, but right off the bat, well, it was a little too close for comfort. Malcuit, Rodriguez, Lempin, and more going off in turn 9. And then, well, the leaders, they still kept on fighting, even a couple karts less than before, but it really kind of came to a head here. Vidmontien first goes wide, and then kind of just nowhere for everyone to go. I think ultimately Luca Brancati was trying to be on the inside of what was going to be 2, then turned to 3 wide, then nearly 4 wide as they tried to avoid Enzo, and ended up with 3 karts there off on the wayside. But a good last lap battle, and Ty Fisher ending as the heat race winner in Heat 1, Groups A and D. And, well, we can see Caleb down there in the scale line, so let's send it on down to him as Ty gets his gear off and hear from Ty Fisher's half of, what just went down, because that looked a little crazy, Caleb.
Yeah, thank you, Xander. And crazy, I think, is the best way to put it. But since the start, you've been on it. You got it done on the qualifying session, played it out perfectly in that race. Again, picture perfect for you.
Yeah, in qualifying, I knew I wasn't going to be quickest, so I either got a good drop flap, which I was able to do, and then in the race, I had pace, and when Nate was behind me, he told me to push, like, on the first lap, so and I just kept pushing the whole race and started defending. Never was going to happen, but we got the win, so good going into.
Yeah, and I mean, exactly that. That's our next question, right? Only 5 drivers are going to qualify for you guys into the Fast 5 shootout to win some money, so a good start for you already to kind of get a step ahead on that.
Yeah, so I'm really excited for that, so I should be in the shootout, and it'll be a fun race, all the best drivers, and dogfight for the money.
Well, there you guys have it. Ty Fisher saying it's going to be a fight all the way to the end. Back to you guys in the booth.
$1,000 up for grabs for the support class shootouts tonight for KA Junior trying to make their way on in, and I believe they'll be joined by the Mini Swift division on the
heard we pushed it
later on this evening. So with everything ready to go for the shootouts, at least for one half of the grid, at least they've gotten their drivers together. KA Junior and then Micro on the ticket tonight. Mini Swift and X30 Junior on the ticket tomorrow. So those 2 classes, well, we've got our Micro heats done. We've got half of our KA Junior heats done. There you can see Caleb walking his way around to go and get some more intel from the KA Juniors A and D that have just wrapped up. Let's take a moment while he's getting ready over in the scale line. We'll pull up the starting lineup here for the other half of KA Junior. This is groups B and C. We're going to throw up on your screen. KA Junior, B and C together. The other half, this is second and third from qualifying, Tristan Murphy, and we heard from Chase Gassey at Lee as well earlier with Peyton Westcott and Max Weiland on row number 2.
Nate Golseth on row number 3 next to Alexander Vanchev in the Soda USA kart, and Amador Martinez in the Rollison Performance Group kart next to Martin Jaramillo.
Kai Mars and Naomi Garcia make up the end of the top 10 on row number 5. Row 6, Xander Malatesta on the Ruthless Karting X-Free, and Hamza Anbar on the Ryan Perry Motorsport Tony kart for 11th and 12th.
Making up your 7th row is Shane Smith, who I believe is on the Sodi kart next to Max Christie in the Trinity kart. And then on row number 8 is Indy Anderson and Aiden Augustine.
Davis Henry and Carla Rochetti will make up row 9. Grayson Knoll, Owen Spite should be the final drivers on groups B and C for a full 10-row, 20-driver heat race getting set to go green here in a few moments. Again, while the track clearing continues. It gives us a moment to step away. We will return with the next heat race on the docket. 2 heats in the books, lots more to go, and rookie Tristan Murphy will be getting ready to lead us to the green when we return. Massive turnouts, world-class venues, and an awesome family-friendly atmosphere. All of these and more are pillars of the U.S. Pro Kart Series, which is gearing up for its biggest season yet in 2023. Orlando, Houston, Newcastle, Cincinnati, and Mooresville. Welcome to the top level of North American karting. Welcome to the U.S. Pro Kart Series. Brandon, Why are there all these charges for just over $200 from Acceleration Kart Racing's website?
That's because AKR gives you free shipping on orders of $200 or more within the continental US.
Okay, but I thought you were just getting a pair of gloves. That's what, 70 bucks?
But if I'm getting a new pair of gloves, I might as well get a new pair of shoes to match. And then on top of that, I'll get a neck brace because with the shipping, it's basically free.
Yeah, I do not think the math checks out on that.
Everything you need, all in one place and shipped to your door for free for orders of $200 or more. Exclusions.
The outlap complete for groups B and C for KA100 Junior from Trackhouse Motorplex. We've got a few more of the field rounding the last couple of corners. That's going to have our pole sitter Tristan Murphy kind of slowing things down. And he will bring us up the hill to turn number 11 and get ready to lead us to green. Green flag in the air. We've got problems off the bat. Chase Gassiet Lee high up and over the berm in turn number 2. And there's more. 2 drivers off the racetrack. Jaramillo's involved. One more. It might have been. Don't know for sure. Looked like maybe one of the Kart Republics, and it indeed is the 823 at Kai Mars into the barriers over at turn 3. So we've got a lot of chaos getting this race going. Right now here in KA100 Junior Groups B and C, and well, there's more. Nate Golseth going to the wayside. Hamza Anbar, his teammate, going by. Nathan falling way back. He'll finally get down low ahead of Xander Malatesto, who's going to send Naomi Garcia a little bit wide. She'll get low to block, and Jerry, we've got to catch our breath already. 1 lap complete, lots of changes. Tristan Murphy, the only one that stayed the same. He'll lead us at the end of lap number 1.
Yeah, that was definitely more of a chaotic one, Xander. It just seemed like Gassiet Lee felt like he needed to use the access road, and he did just that going up the hill. But it seemed to work out nice for him, sliding into the 3rd position. There was a lot of grass on the track there with drivers coming back on. So definitely something to think about after that first lap when your drivers off. You see dust clouds, next time you go through, you gotta learn to brake a little earlier, or to turn in a little earlier, whatever the case is. Gassiet Lee down the inside of Westcott for the 2nd position, gonna get that move done, and now he's gonna set his sight on Tristan Murphy in the P1 position.
Well, we're going to keep our tab on the line that we have to the officiating booth. I don't think they're going to rule against Chase Gassiet Lee. He did lose overall, but you could tell the moment he had to commit to missing all the wall, the barrier, and the runoff and go through the dirt that he gunned it. Only lost a couple spots. He definitely fell back from 2nd, but he's right back to where he started 2 laps later. So whatever they decide, there were 3 to 4 penalties from Heat 1. There will probably be some more here in the other half for Heat 1 and B and C. At least for now, unofficially, Chase Gassiet Lee, your new leader over Luca Brancati, Tristan Murphy, the other of the red and white team Tony Kart entry. This one with Super Tune USA. Murphy back to 2nd. Peyton Westcott 3rd. She's going to lose that. Vanchev with a late send. He's going to send her to the weeds. Max Weiland going to go by for 4th. And Amador Martinez will just kind of tuck in line behind as a teammate there with Hamza Anbar up a number of spots already. Great start for Hamza.
Yeah, they kind of just shuffled Peyton back there. They just kind of went down the inside, knew it was time to go. It's so early in this race. It's crazy crazy to see, Xander, the aggression from some of these kids, right? I don't know how much thought process there is there, but, it's pretty crazy.
Yeah, and there's definitely a lot of, not just aggression, but I think like the lack of, whoa, we got problems for Davis Henry, the 849, and that looked like it might have some bent rear axle. The 814 is out as well. That's Grayson Knoll on the OTK. So Grayson out and into the wall in turn number 2, but I mean, we're seeing aggression to the point of maybe a crash here and there for the lead pack, and then still crashes further back. Yes, you can gain double. You can also lose double if you have a crash in one of these split heats, right? Every spot matters twice as much. But like you said, Jerry, I mean, it's 3. It's the average of the heat races. How many times do we watch a driver that just kind of rides consistently inside the top 5, or, just, again, 3 good, solid finishes and start above someone that, sets the world on fire with 1 heat race win and then has a couple of DNFs and goes down to the rear. I mean, just these drivers, this isn't a new format to them, right? So that's where I think for both of us, it's a little surprising to see that level of aggression this early, because they've been a part of many race weekends with 3 heats and a main, or 3 heats and a pre-final and a main. That's basically what we got here, but I mean, this might as well be a 14-lap final. We're going at it. New leader, Murphy, back on by in turn 8.
Yeah, now Vanchev to the outside of Gasly, trying to hold it tough around the outside of, I believe, Weiland. Still holding it, somehow going to still hold the outside there. I'm very surprised. Westcott now down the inside of Vanchev. Martinez trying to follow through. Not going to be able to get it done. Alex Vanchev now into your 5th position, going into turn 1 in lap 6.
Alexander Vanchev is heavily outnumbered in this group right now by OTKs all around him, it feels like, and being the lone Sodi, the only other non-OTK kart group manufactured machine in the top 7. Well, that's going to be Mad Max Weiland on the Magic Kart in 3rd as of last time by across the loop. Still, again, folks, lots of time left. We're only on lap number 6, 5 complete out of 14, so 8.5 laps to go. And as we look at some more of the movers and shakers here, let's kind of give you a little recap. Hamza Anbar still up a net gain of 4. His teammate, on the other hand, Nate Golseth, a net loss of 4. And more importantly, Nathan is about a 1.5 seconds back from Hamza back in position number 8. And it looks like he's fallen all the way back to 10th now. Another 2 have gone by, Naomi Garcia and Max Christia. Christia up 4 on the TKG Kart Republic. And then, his teammate, Kai Mars, the other direction with the DNF, getting crashed out on the opening lap. He's down to 20th, and we're going back to it with the lead. Gassi at lead, back to the point. This time, Weiland is able to follow, and Tristan Murphy, for the lowest point he's been through this race, is 3rd.
Yeah, Gasly now to the lead, gonna block here going into 8 with Weiland in tow. Everyone down to the inside, and it's just been a tough one so far. And for Nate Golseth, he's gonna have to put his head down and start working his way back forward. I don't know if something was amiss there on that RPM Tony kart, but he's definitely gonna have to put his head down and start working back forward.
Big move there, Amador Martinez on Alexander Vanchev. That was 5th, and that really, I would call it a big move in those one position loss. They lost about a 0.5 second in that one pass, so that kind of hurt them a little bit to the top 4. And if Chase Gassi Lee can trust the drivers behind not to throw it down his inside enough to hit his marks, this pack of 7 could drop down to a pack of 4 with Peyton Westcott at the helm of it. But they have not been perfect about working together through this half lap. It's allowed Amador to close back up, and we're back up to 7 again. So pack racing in both of our KA Junior Heats so far. Let's go down and hear from Fast Frankie Mossman, who rolls from the pole in KA Senior. See what's going on in Frankie's mind, if he's expecting the same from the 15 and over division.
Thank you, Xander. Like you said, definitely living up to the name here this weekend, Frankie, but it's been a while since you've been out of the go-kart. You holding up all right?
Yeah, I'm doing fine. I think this 15 laps is going to be a little bit more brutal, but it's going to be about keeping civil and focusing more on the shootout and making a good position for the super heat. So that's really just all that matters.
Let's talk a little bit about that shootout, right? You're in prime position to kind of qualify in after qualifying on the pole, but that shootout layout's almost like a super speedway. So how are you feeling for that if you do qualify?
I mean, I have a ton of top-end speed. It really worked out well. I'm really glad that ATZ supported me, and I definitely think I have the best engine package for the shootout, so it's just going to be about, I think, surviving. It's going to be a pack race all the way through, end to end, and so we're just going to I don't even know, being honest. So it's going to be about surviving.
And lastly here, Simon Sykes is saying that a car's been more physical than a kart. Can you attest to that this weekend running double duty?
Oh, 100%. I think it's even more. You know, seat time, it's kind of ultimate over everything, and these guys have been in the kart every single week. And, I mean, my last race was Rotax back in, I think, February. So, I mean, I'm definitely feeling the toll, but I'm definitely haven't lost the speed.
There you guys have it. Frankie Mossman definitely feeling the G-forces here on a kart. So there you have it, Simon. Back to you guys in the booth.
How about that? Caleb giving a little more than just intel, a little extra shade there to our head producer, Simon Sykes, the reigning USF 2000 champion from 2023, and steadily climbing the IndyCar ladder. But he's able to come and hang out with us here with their season ending last week in Portland for both him and Frankie. Frankie on the racetrack in a go-kart, Simon helping us put on the broadcast as it's racers all around the facility, and there's racing all around the facility here in this junior heat race. There's a pass in turn 1. Haven't seen that in a moment. A lot of them have been down in turn 4, but it's Mad Max to the lead now out of turn number 3, and well, Jerry, he's only going to get it for about 2 corners. Gassi Lee back to the inside in 4.
Yeah, it's just these kids, they don't sit in line, man. It's I want to lead, and you know, Gassi Lee definitely wants to lead, and Tristan Murphy and Taylor now behind him, going into the turn 8 hairpin. Like you said, it's more of like a trust thing, right? You pass a guy, and then you look back and you expect him to push you, but you know you just passed the guy, Xander. So like, you know, it's definitely tough.
It's such a difficult position to be in, especially when you're kind of on this borderline of being totally pushing and pack racing dependent racing that some of the lower horsepower categories are all about. And then on the other end, you still do have 22 horsepower enough where you can kind of make your own luck and make your own speed a bit. And this kind of equilibrium point that the KA junior class and the KA senior division resides in forces moves like that, and see sometimes the leader go into the wall. Tristan Murphy into the outside barrier with contact with Chase Gassi and Lee. They both got up and into the marbles, and the pole sitter from heat number 1, B and C, is out of the opening heat race with 2.5 laps to go. And Gassi and Lee now back to the 5th position, just trying to hang on for dear life. It's Max Weiland and Alexander Vanchev on the Sodi up and into 2nd. Another 2-car duo behind them, and I believe it's Hamza Anbar and Amador Martinez. Martinez into 3rd. Hamza is now up, I think, potentially double-digit positions. 7 spots up for Anbar, and he should be safe there. Gassi and Lee parking the bus on the bottom. Who knows if he's got any damage to that Coastal Link custom printing machine. He's going to block low. Martinez does as well, and it's going to make it a mano-a-mano slugfest here to the end with a battle between Weiland and Vanchev, because they've already got a 2nd as of last time by the loop, and, well, they're not defending. Everyone else behind them is Jerry, so they're going to have, a big move there from Martinez. Kind of drove Anbar a little wide in turn 8, and that might put him back into the 5th on pack group here, where his teammate Nate Golseth is in the middle of in that white helmet.
Yeah, and ever since Gassi had a little bit of contact there, he's had dirt on his tires since then, and he hasn't stopped the white lining since then. Yeah, white flag in the air now. Max Weiland down to the inside, going to get over-undered a little bit of contact by Vanchev. Still down the inside, going to get the move up the hill. Vanchev into the P1 position, going down into the bowl.
And he'll go back to the low side. Amador Martinez was able to clear himself away from Hamza Anbar, but he still was nearly 2 seconds back. So these leaders have a lot of time to defend and battle it out. Half a lap to go for Alexander Vanchev and Max Weiland down the run into turn number 8, all the way down to the low side for Vanchev. Can Weiland get the over-under? He'll pull alongside. He'll nose ahead into turn 9. Weiland back to the lead now. Out of the double right, here comes Martinez. He'll be lurking there in the last turn. I think Vanchev's too far back though. Give heat 1, B and C to Max Weiland on the Magic Kart in a crazy final lap here, Jerry.
Yeah, this was definitely one of the most exciting heats so far, Xander, and looking for KA Senior next, I'm really excited. But to run you through your field here, Alex Vanchev in the 2nd position behind Mad Max Weiland on the Magic Kart. Amador Martinez in P3, Hamza Anbar P4, Gassi in 5th, Golseth 6th, Palomir 7th, Westcott 8th, Andy Garcia in P9, and Max Christie rounding out your top 10 in the K100 Junior Heat 1 B versus C group.
That was crazy. I know that they're working everything they can to try and get a word with Max Weiland. Congratulations to the Magic Kart driver. He wins out on that head-to-head battle with Vanchev, and again, so many movers and shakers, right? I mean, you look at some of the drivers. Max Christia was having to start from the tail end. He picked up a number of spots, moved forward a lot. Again, Hamza Anbar, he crossed the line fourth. Even though he lost on that battle for third with Amador Martinez, he was still pumping his fist at the fence line, Jerry, to the RPM Arcane Motorsports combo crew, because they made up a ton of positions. 7 or 8 spots gained in a split heat like this. Market really at a 14, 15 position gain. He's going to have to do it 2 more times on the weekend to get a good spot for that super heat. So that's the good and the bad news. And the same kind of sense for Kai Mars. He qualified right around the middle. I believe he started either 10th or 11th. So while it's a bummer to have this in Heat 1, you've got 2 more heat races to try and roll from row 5 or row 6 and move forward. And then again, that super heat, the way that works out is you get 50% of your main event grid coming from your total points from heats 1 through 3, and an equal 50% weighting, weigh scale to how you perform in the super heat. It's not a total reset, but by that point in the weekend, if you've had a rough go in the heats, you go win your super heat, you're going to start pretty decently up the grid in the main. But, well, the best spot to start from is from the pole. That's where Frankie Mossman will roll from alongside the Magic Man himself, AJ Myers. And you can see Caleb off to the side has got a couple thoughts for us while we get set for KA Senior. So, Caleb, why don't we head it over to you, man? What do you got for us?
Thank you, Xander. Some big movers and shakers in this class, I should say. Many people at home are probably wondering where Dalton Haynes is on this grid. He's all the way at the back, starting 12th, all the way back on row number 6. So look for that driver to work his way up the field and try to race his way into the shootout again. $4,000 on the line later on today for the CNC Performance Engineering K100 shootout here this weekend. So a lot of drivers, you need to be conservative. You can't really risk too much. And the guys up at front, we heard from AJ early on in his interview when we spoke to him. He said he just wanted to bring the Kart home. The money is an added bonus, like a cherry on top. But a guy like Hayden Jones, there's a lot more money on the line for him here this weekend, running double duty, already has a pole in X30 Pro. And this weekend, looking to get, I guess, the biggest payday out of any other senior driver here this weekend, if he could get that added bonus and winning both shootouts and the main events on Sunday afternoon. So look for these guys to go at it. And Paulie Massimino as well. He's your most recent race winner here at Trackhouse Motorplex at the United States Pro Kart Series. So look for that driver to bring the fight up to Fast Frankie Mossman and AJ Myers. Back to you guys up at the booth.
Great quick recap from Caleb Vieska about all that's going on here for KA100 Senior. Super excited to see this first heat, only half the class together, but there is a look at the front row. And, well, as Caleb brought you a lot of the big names, let's see on the overall grid exactly how they will stack up for heats, the groups A and D together for this opening heat race. Once again, Mossman on the inside of AJ Myers, back with Hayden Jones, and then Cameron Weinberg on that Chad Dawkin racing machine. Couple RPG Cosmics got me all messed up, but there's a big contingent of Mike Rollison's blue, purple, and pink crew. There's Aiden Levy. It's a return to familiar soil, really, for the 990 Ryan Perry Motorsport driver. This weekend is back on the original manufacturer he started his karting career on many years ago, the Tony Kart chassis. He had been doing a little bit of coaching on it. He'd helped out with the RPM crew that had done a lot of training camps over the summer and said, you know what? I miss this feeling. I want to try and drive on this piece of metal. And this weekend, he's qualified it inside the first couple of rows alongside fellow OTK driver there, Paulie Massimino, on that BJR MDR machine. But you're looking straight into the eyes of some of the superstars that are ready to roll for KA100 Senior. There's still a few more moments before we are firing the engines right now as the track cleanup continues and the last little bits are prepped and ready. We'll get one more moment to step away and we return. It'll be time for the 15 and over, the class that is racing again tonight with their All-Star CNC PE KA100 shootout. $4,000 up for grabs later this evening. Today, though, and before we get there, we've got to find out the 10 that automatically go through. And, well, we're going to get that from heat number 1.
Parallel USA, a top-level performance team with unmatched hospitality, offering a full-service driver development program with year-round testing available in Miami, Florida, and the official North America racing team of Parallel Racing Chassis. Chassis and parts available at ParallelinUSA.com.
So you will finally want to get behind the wheel, huh?
Yeah, I've been shooting for 3 years and I've never got to drive.
Well, you're going to need some more gear than just your helmet. Why don't you go to shopakr.com. They got their inventory online, and they'll ship it the same day if you order before 5:30 p.m. Eastern.
They got shoes?
Yep.
Gloves?
Yep.
Rib protectors?
Got those too.
Can they make me go fast?
No.
Here at Acceleration Kart Racing, we've got everything you need to get on track. What happens next? Well, that's on you. Check us out online at shopakr.com.
Are you looking for an advantage in your competition? Well, Kart Class has done the hard work for you. We've traveled to your racetracks to give you the inside knowledge. So what does Kart Class offer? We've got drone footage that captures the racing lines, visual markers for your braking points, acceleration zones, and the best overtake opportunities on your racetrack. Pedal cam to show you where to brake and when to accelerate, and 360-degree footage to make sure you don't miss any parts on the racetrack. We've covered 13 racetracks in the United States, and Australia, you're up next. So visit kartclass.com to get your track information.
Massive turnouts, world-class venues, and an awesome family-friendly atmosphere. All of these and more are pillars of the U.S. Pro Kart Series, which is gearing up for its biggest season yet in 2023. Orlando, Houston, Newcastle, Cincinnati, and Mooresville. Welcome to the top level of North American karting. Welcome to the U.S. Pro Kart Series.
Maryland USA, a top-level performance team with unmatched hospitality.
Warm-up laps coming to a close here with the black and white SCR red speed of Fast Frankie Mossman taking us up the hill. He'll go around the racetrack one more time, then hit the cut-through, I believe, to slowly bring the field together. It'll give us the opportunity to throw that starting lineup back on your screen properly for the KA100 Seniors groups A and D. So again, Mossman, the overall top qualifier. The Magic Man, AJ Myers, qualified 4th overall. That puts him top of Group D. So we will bring that to you here in just a moment with the KA100 Seniors ready to go, groups A versus D. So that group with Hayden Jones, Cameron Weinberg, Aiden Levy, Paulie Massimino. Further back, of course, down the line, Adam Brickley, Peyton Phillips on row number 4, Mateo Pappas, and Emery Lida concluding on that top 10. And then on back, Chris Harrower and Dalton Haynes on row 6, Nix Eggleston, Eli Warren, row 7, Jordan Hernandez, Lucas Zabo, Ben Gaunt, Max Saga, Grayson Thorpe. Now, typically when you get the group split like this for the heats, it's borderline whether or not everyone gets to go to the main. They're all going to the main Sunday afternoon, but only the top 10 between Heat 1 and qualifying will automatically go to the CNCPE KA100 shootout, and half of them could come from this one heat race right here. Mossman, Myers, to the line, green, flag in the air, we're racing down to turn number 1, and it's a good start for Mossman. It's another great start for the Magic Man. He'll go right to 2nd, Weinberg to 3rd as Jones has gotten a bit bogged down trying to hang on for dear life there in P4.
Yeah, Weinberg straight to the outside there, was able to make it 3 wide around the outside of Hayden, and Paulie able to get into that 3rd position. And as I say that, Hayden's now into the 4th position on RPG Cosmic. And I'm expecting a little bit more laid back than that last KA Junior Heat, Xander, just based off of a little bit of the more maturity we have at the front here in Senior.
Through the turn 8 hairpin, a little bit more moves back there in that infield hairpin. Couple drivers going wide. We looked like right behind Paulie Massimino that one of the Ryan Perry Motorsport machines, I think that was Peyton Phillips, had a big send down the inside on Adam Brickley and kind of shuffled him out. So Phillips now up into 6th there on that blue and yellow helmet, and we got problems at the back there. Looks like a couple more tripped up. Warren and Ben Gaunt and Jordan Hernandez all slow at the end of the first lap, but they're all going to at least continue. Just looked like it might have gotten worse than I think maybe what I read into. Either way, for 2nd, Weinberg trying the inside, and AJ slamming the door shut on Cameron. So it'll stay the same. Mossman, Myers, Weinberg, Jones, Massimino, the top 5 through the infield.
Yeah, I'm sure AJ is, comfortable to sit behind him here, but, because he's getting attacked, he's going to have to, make the move. And as I said earlier, Xander, sometimes the best form of defense is to attack and, AJ definitely putting that into play there as he goes to the P1 position.
First lead change of the heat race here for KA Senior. Cameron Weinberg says, don't worry about me, let's keep going forward. They had a little gap back to Mossman to end the run out of turn number 9. Frankie got a great exit onto the front stretch. Paulie did not. Hayden Jones will take advantage. He'll take back 4th.
Yeah, Hayden now into the 4th position. Paulie going to say, no, you aren't. Right back down the inside, going to take that 4th position back from Hayden.
So side by side now for 5th. Phillips to the inside. Mateo Pappas saying, if you're going, I'm going with you. Shoves him through in turn 4. Hayden Jones from up to 4th from 5th, then back to 5th, back down to 7th. And now he's got to deal with Dalton Haynes on that SLA karting TV kart with Moore on the way. Lucas Zabo Aiden Levy used to not used to seeing Aiden in the red and white colors. There's Dalton down the inside. Here comes Levy down the inside. Little hip check to Hayden. He'll go all the way back to 9th. Here comes Emery Lida and Adam Brickley there on the Alonso kart, 10th and 11th. One big train, and well, Weinberg was ready to follow for a minute. He's no longer ready to follow. He wants to lead. Cameron Weinberg to the point. Mossman into 2nd. Myers 3rd. He'll go to the carb for a quick adjustment and fend off from Paulie Massimino down in turn 4.
Yeah, Dalton Haynes now down the inside of Mateo Pappas, going to take that P6 position from him. And I believe Dalton is already up 6 positions from his P12 starting spot. And yeah, definitely going to have to keep an eye on Dalton as he now has clean air to work towards this front group. Paulie looking down the inside of AJ Myers there. Not sure if he got the move done. He didn't. But yeah, with Lucas Zabo in tow behind Paulie, Paulie's definitely going to be looking to get into that 3rd position.
There's a look to the middle group here, led by Emery Lida. He's under pressure. Adam Brickley's going to crack the top 10. He'll go down the inside, take over that spot, and that'll split that pack off a little bit further. It's going to buy Hayden Jones some breathing room. So Brickley, Lida, then Nix Eggleston, who had that really solid performance in X30 Pro qualifying. Right now, he's just trying to break into the top half of KA Senior as Paulie's going to send it on the inside of AJ Myers. Last time we were here at Trackhouse Motorplex, Paulie Massimino was the driver to beat in KA Senior. They nearly crashed him out in the main event more than once. He still drove back through and got the dub. He is up to 3rd now here early. And Peyton Phillips, well, AJ did not like that move there in turn number 8. He kind of slammed the door shut on him a little bit. Dalton Haynes getting around Peyton, moved Dalton now up and into the top 5. So the TV kart up another one. Not going to go on AJ in the last turn though. Paulie will on Mossman, and that'll be another spot up for the 908. Massimino now at the end of lap 5 is up into 2nd, and Haynes into the top 5, now into 4th ahead of AJ Myers in turn 1.
Yeah, Haynes now into the P4 position, starting from his 12th position, up 8 spots. He's going to look back at AJ, he's going to point forward, and he's going to, have a little bit of trust in it that, AJ isn't going to attack him right back. You've seen AJ fall from what I believe was P1 all the way down now to P5. Definitely doesn't want to fall down any further than there. AJ being the veteran that he is, he knows when he needs to go. He knows when he needs to push. And, obviously, we heard from Caleb on the grid that, Dalton Haynes was starting in the rear. Everyone on the grid heard it. And now you see Dalton Haynes up in the 4th position. So, I'm sure AJ is going to sit behind him and push him up to this lead group. Paulie Massimino down the inside of Cameron Weinberg, going to get the move done into the P1 position.
So with Paulie now to the lead for the first time, let's take another look at all the big movers and shakers. Paulie Massimino up 4, now into the lead. Dalton Haynes up 7. And he's got now Peyton Phillips, the next driver behind, as Myers gets shoved to the high side. And Mossman goes by on Weinberg. So more changes in the KA Senior group, but not really a ton of white lining. As much as they've been fighting, it is a little bit more reserved. And I put a lot of emphasis right there, Jerry, on a little bit. This is still pretty crazy. There's some white lining from Aiden Levy, just defending low in turn 8, as he's feeling Hayden Jones starting to bear back down on him for the 7th position. Brickley and Mateo Pappas back behind them as well, 9th and 10th.
Yeah, and you look at Mateo Pappas, he's fell back a little bit, but he's still in that draft, I believe, behind Brickley. And they're going to look to work their way forward. Now going up the hill here into turn 3. Now down into the bowl, Paulie Massimino still in the P1 position. Frankie Mossman behind. Dalton Haynes now down the inside of Cameron Weinberg, going to take that 3rd position, and he's now up 8 positions from his P12 starting spot.
And that was a really clean move. Kudos to Dalton. You don't always get to pull off a pass that clean as well. Big kudos to Weinberg. They barely lost any time in that changeover On the other hand, this is going to cost this group a lot of time. Jones leaving into the side of A.J. Myers. Those two got together a little bit the last time we were on the racetrack as well. And now A.J. Myers goes from the front row to 10th with the line being hit this time, showing 6 laps to go. So less than half of the race remains. And, well, he's a long ways back now from the top 5. Paulie Massimino continuing to show the way through turn number 3 and try to punch his ticket on merit to the CNC PEKA shootout. Unfortunately, he'll lose the lead right on cue there in turn 4. Mossman and Haynes get through there for first and second.
Yeah, Frankie going down the inside. Dalton's going to follow him through. Weinberg now in 4th. And yeah, like you were saying, it didn't seem like Levy gave much love there to AJ. And, you know, it's tough. But Dalton now down the inside. Dalton going to go to the P1 position. Paulie trying to follow him through. Not going to get it done. Weinberg trying to work on Paulie. Not going to get that done either. But, you know, I believe we're going down to 5 to go. And, you know, it's been go time all race. Paulie now down the inside of Frankie, going to take that right back. And he's now going to set his eyes in the lime green TV car to Dalton Haynes.
Yeah, Dalton has picked apart the field nicely here from 11th to the lead. Mossman and Massimino continuing to trade that second spot. I think Paulie is going to have to give way, but either that or he's going to throw Frankie to the weeds right here to the inside, and he'll drive him into the marbles. That'll allow Weinberg to get through and say, you know what, that's enough, Frankie. And now Peyton Phillips, a quick moment there up on top of the right rear tire of Frankie Mossman, hurt him as well, separates them all, and Dalton Haynes gets the biggest gap that the leader has had, and it feels like all race long, about maybe just 3 car lengths back to Paulie Massimino. 2 drivers who know this racetrack inside and out. I get a lot of messages and questions from new parents of, well, hey, I'm looking to go to Trackhouse Motorplex. I've just moved to the area. Who's a great driver coach? You're looking at them. 2 kids that are here almost every day of the week, working hard and training the next generation. So there's no one I expect to hit their marks better than the drivers in 1st and 2nd right now. This is going to be a ton of fun to watch them on this last lap. With still 3.5 laps to the checkered. So we got a lot of time to watch 2 drivers who have dueled ever since they were about 9 years old at this place.
Yeah, and I mean, especially with these 2 drivers, I believe Dalton won the main event last year in X30, and Paulie was what, the 2021
shootout winner, of course, as well. Paulie has won the last time in KA for either one of those drivers in KA, and that was in USPKS competition back in May. Same compound tire, same engine. Paulie's going, Dalton, what are we doing? Let's get back going forward again. We got an opportunity to get away, and I don't know if that was either towards that or maybe for Dalton kind of parking the bus on the inside lane, but either way, they're going to kind of re-rack. That's allowed Hayden Jones to get back into the mix. Aiden Levy and Adam Brickney to kind of close back in as well. They're down to within a 1.5 seconds back from the lead. Dalton and Paulie looking back. No defending there, but at the same time, neither did 3rd, 4th, or 5th. Cam Weinberg, Frankie Mossman, Peyton Phillips, they're also just kind of riding in the wake, doing whatever the leaders do. They're not necessarily getting dragged into a fight against each other unless the leaders will. Paulie to the inside, Weinberg and over under. Mossman's going to nose ahead from 4th for a moment.
Yeah, Weinberg going to go all the way to the P1 position. Massimino down the inside of Zabo trying to hold it tough on the inside, not going to get it. But yeah, great move from Weinberg there, being able to recognize the slowing down on the exit and being able to over under there to the P1 position.
Dalton back on the inside of Paulie Massimino. That hurt both of them. They both are now further back from the top 3, and Hayden Jones has split them up. Hayden was nearly 2 seconds back earlier in the race. He's now into 5th once again. Dalton's going to block low for P4. His forward momentum starting to kind of subside and fall back now as he's back to P4. Peyton Phillips was airborne about 2 laps ago. He's 3rd on that blue and yellow helmet. And then it's Mossman in 2nd, and Cameron Weinberg has kind of stayed in the lead pack, but somehow avoided most of the chaos through this heat race. It's rewarded him with the late lead as Massimino with a late send on Jones in turn 9 takes back that 5th spot. That could be the last position to move forward into the shootout tonight on merit. So that's a hotly contested position right now. 1 to go. Phillips to 2nd. Massimino to block low for P5. He's got Levy right there, and something just happened to Jones as he bounces it through the grass. Wow, crazy, crazy stuff and hard to keep up with. But Cameron Weinberg still leads us through 4.
Yeah, now Dalton Haynes still, still trying to get to that lead group, but Weinberg has a little bit of a gap right now. But I would expect Zabo to close that down here going into the turn 8 hairpin. Let's see if Weinberg decides to block. Not going to need to, as Zabo's trying to cover off Frankie behind. Dalton Haynes there in fourth, and it looks like it's going to be a pretty comfortable win here for Cameron Weinberg after they decide to fight for second behind him. Dalton's still trying to look for the move on the third position on Frankie. No moves anywhere in the top 4. That's going to be pretty set in stone. P5, Paulie Massimino, Aiden Levy, and Weinberg with the win.
Cameron Weinberg, Heat 1, Groups A and D, race winner. Phillips, Mossman, and again Haynes and Massimino, the top 5. That run forward is going to put Dalton Haynes close to, I think, the point total he needs to maybe make it into the shootout tonight. Massimino, 5th to 5th, should be just in. Mossman should be in. Phillips should be in as well, and Weinberg for sure with a Heat win is going to point his way into the shootout. Part of that is all going to depend on what happens next. Aiden Levy goes 6-6 basically in his quali and then heat race effort. So we're going to wait and see how heat number 2 of the 2K groups goes. Heat 1 for groups B and C on the weekend. That will kind of determine who joins. Cameron Weinberg, Frankie Mossman, and I believe Massimino with a point total of 10 into the shootout tonight. But again, all of our kind of mental, math, unofficial. Let's at least figure out how we got to this result sheet right here by going back through that Coastal Link custom printing recap and how Cameron Weinberg was able to end up with a nice little cushion going to the line to complete the run in KA100 Senior. We'll swap on over and take a look back at the full replay and recap from this one. First and foremost here, Frankie Mossman and AJ Myers leading us to green. Looked like, we watched a lot of KA Junior action kind of get a bit hairy, and right off the bat, AJ Myers setting the tone saying this is going to be a bit of a battle and we're going to get after it. Jones there making some moves forward early. He actually ended up going pretty far back later on. This was one of the moves that kind of sent him down the line, falling behind Mateo Pappas. Cameron Weinberg going to the lead. He led a good amount of laps besides the last one, including at this moment here when Paulie Massimino started to make that kind of slow and methodical run up the grid. It was a kind of that same mentality, but at twice the quickness, because he had to go twice as far for Dalton Haynes on the TB card. He climbed his way up to 4th from 11th by that point, then to 3rd with a nice move on Weinberg, and eventually Dalton got himself all the way to the lead, while this group, again, look at how far back they were. Myers, Levy, Jones, I mean, they were way back from the leaders, but that was how much fighting was going on. You saw Mossman going by, then Dalton, he had his turn at the lead from 11th, showing you could win from, or at least get to the lead from pretty far back. But he kind of got there, I think, maybe a little bit early, Jerry, because then he started feeling the heat. Everyone kind of stacked up, and once you start white lining, you can frustrate the drivers behind, and I think that's what triggered this move right here. Check out Paulie sending it way low, and it ended up hurting both of their races, but it especially hurt Dalton in that moment.
Yeah, I mean, you kind of just got to pick and choose when you got to go, but that one is kind of like last second. You've seen he kind of hesitate a little bit, and, it kind of sent both of them back and hurt a little bit of their finishes.
Yeah, they end up with a 4th and a 5th. Cameron Weinberg ends up with the race win, and well, his teammates are going to line up on the front row for groups B and C. Caleb Gaffera and Stephen Miller. A Chad Dawkin Racing lockout. New livery for the blue, white, and black Kart Republic team. Stephen Miller returning to the operation that saw him get multiple race wins and a couple championships in 2023 in the junior ranks. Caleb Gaffera, a coaching, a work opportunity that turned into a last-second racing opportunity a couple weeks ago in Indiana. And now it's racing again at home with his new home on the CDR group, and they've got the front row together. It looks good for groups B and C. Heat 1, it will be good. It's a green flag out in turn 1 and a clean start for the front couple, but Kai Hunter on that RPG Cosmic is going to slide his way to second. He'll go right into the inside in turn 3, trying to take the lead away. Now Miller's going to have a nose down low, and the Englishman is going to be under pressure in turn 4, and Steven says, yeah, that's not how we want to play this over here in America. He'll shuffle him back to 4th.
Yeah, it seemed like Hunter immediately wanted to split up the two Chad Dawkin Racing carts, and I wouldn't blame him for it. It's a good strategy, but it's tough when Gaffera, this is his home track, and Stephen Miller's been at the front of Senior all year this year, with a couple of wins here and there, but fighting down the field here for around Parker DeLong and Chase Buscalia.
Quite a bit of fighting right there. DeLong getting by on his teammate and Andrew Hamill in the 905. Hamill now all the way back behind the Kart Republic of James Newell in the 923. So from up into the top 5 to way back, check out a couple big names from way back. Finn Balin, James Overbeck outside the top 10. Drew James back there as well. And, well, Caleb Gaffera defending. You'd think if you look back and you see your teammate in a huge gap that you would both just work together and push away. I don't know if they had talked about it beforehand, if this was part of the plan or not, but, well, it's given Kai Hunter new life. And the same for Buscalia and DeLong. And, yeah, Stephen Miller says, all right, we're going to do that. We're going to race then. New leader, the 973 into turn number 9.
Yeah, it's not like Gaffera gave him much of an option after blocking there. It's kind of like, okay, well, now I have to go, you know? And, yeah, Chad Dawkin Racing, 1, 2, 3. It's going to be interesting to see how this unfolds. DeLong down the inside of Newell. And he's going to get that P5 position. He's going to look back and point forward up to Kai Hunter and the 3 Chad Dawkin Racing points in front of him. The 921 of Anthony Rivera going to get a move done on Jared Clark there into the 7th position. And, yeah, Chad Dawkin Racing 1, 2, 3. But don't expect it for long because Kai Hunter is there.
He is already shown how good he can be on our live broadcast, winning on debut at the Motorsports Country Club of Cincinnati round of the SCUSA Pro Tour and X30 Pro this weekend, helping RPG try to lead the way in the 100cc category, the way that Ryan Norberg has for them in the 125 division. The two of them felt like they both were kind of robbed of getting to find out who'd win the battle head-to-head. Well, this weekend, they're on the same team in different divisions. They're having a good time getting to know each other a little better, and Kai Hunter is the lone man, well outnumbered in purple, blue, and pink colors right now in this KA Senior Heat race. Miller, Gaffera, Buscalia. If you're Chad Dawkin Racing, if you're Chad Dawkin himself, you got to be stoked with that, at least that moment, because sadly it's going to get split up. Hunter back to the inside of Chase. He'll take them from 1-2-3 to 1-2-4. Kai Hunter through to 3rd. And again, Parker DeLong on that Ruthless Karting X-Spree. He has been very busy in 2024, even though we haven't seen him a lot on our broadcast. He is right back to where he was when he was full-time on the karting scene here in the U.S. at the front of the field, Jerry.
Yeah, it's been a little of a hiatus for Parker DeLong, but, you know, what do you expect from a kid who, you know, is just so talented, you know, obviously to come back, you'd expect him in the top 10, top 5 right where he is, but, yeah, a little bit of a hiatus, but, you know, it's good to have Parker DeLong back for this event this weekend.
He looks good right now, that yellow and blue helmet, that white suit in 5th. Tagged in line as Stephen Miller continues to show the way. Kai Hunter tries to chip his way up the group again. This time, it'll work. 2nd lap in a row. He gets by down the inside in turn 4. And while it's Chad Dawkin Racing now 1-3-4, and oh, contact, turn 4. 2 drivers together, Seamus McKendry and Drew James have collided. They are stuck on the edge of the pavement as there's a big move from Steven Eisert to the inside of Hamill. He'll get by in turn 8, but we've lost the first couple. We were clean to this point, besides Raheem Alibi in the 959 RRC Rocket Racing Company FK. Now with Hunter to the lead. Well, we know Chad Dawkin Racing's got a lot in this group. They had a win already. Cameron Weinberg standing by on pit lane as he watches his teammates try to hang on there inside the top 5. Caleb?
Thank you, Xander. And yeah, he's watching on as his teammates are getting out there. He wants more of his teammates in that shootout for him so they can work together and get something done. But, I mean, a very, very wild first heat race for you. Walk me through it.
Yeah, I was kind of knowing that like it was going to be pretty crazy because everybody's trying to get in the shootout tonight. So I just was like, all right, I need to stay in the top 5, and I was quicker than what I thought I was going to be. So I just tried to stay patient, get away with some people, and then they started fighting, and I saw my opportunity, and I knew it was consistent. So I just tried to get out in front, and it ended up working out for me.
Yeah, and I mean, next, the shootout is up next for you. And again, you were talking to me a little bit. You guys were behind the 8 ball, I guess, right out of the box. So is it going to be a while to kind of get adjusted to gears and whatnot to that super speedway layout for the shootout later on tonight?
For this layout, we were struggling pretty bad. But for the alternate layout, like we were top 3 most of the sessions, and so I think we have that layout figured out. Just this one we struggled, but I think we've got both ways figured out.
Well, sounds good, Cameron. Thank you. And I know you're running double duty as well. How's the X30 stuff going? Just run me through your weekend real quick on that.
It's going all right. I missed the gear in qualifying. I missed all my time through like 1 or 2 corners. So hopefully in this heat race I can just try to stay patient and let things plan out. Maybe I can try to get top 7 or something, see how it goes. I think we have the pace though.
All right, what do you guys have from Cameron Weinberg, one of the only drivers running the double here this weekend? Back to you guys in the booth.
Thank you, Cameron. And there you go from Cameron Weinberg. And the Chad Duncan Racing Group now has been put down the order a little bit. Second, third, fourth. Kai Hunter leads the way through turns 1 and 2, but they've at least got some breathing room back from Stephen Miller, Jerry. There has been some more infighting going on in the top 10. And while they're fighting again for the lead, Gafera going through here right at the halfway mark, 7 down, 7 to go. That group as well, back for 5th on back, is still fighting. Newell, DeLong, Steven Eisert, Jerry Clark in the top 10 on the BJR MDR machine as well.
Yeah, and down the inside now, Stephen Miller. Down the inside of his teammate Buscalia, and he's going to tap his helmet, point forward. So now that I passed you, help me out, Chase. Let's get up there and go attack Kai Hunter for the second position, so they can get back to that CDR 1, 2, 3. It's definitely going to be tough. Kai Hunter definitely isn't anyone to play with. You think of all of his accomplishments, overseas and here. He's one of the most decorated drivers in karting. And, now Miller's blocking from his teammate Buscalia. I'm not sure if that was a little bit of a mistake there or if he might have clipped the barriers, Andrew.
Yeah, I don't know. He definitely looked a little bit out of sorts, but obviously he's not trying to just continuously block. He took the normal line, tapped his helmet there in turn 4, and Chase obliged. But Kai Hunter, without anyone else, around that can run with this group consistently. I mean, that pack has caught back up, but they haven't, been able to crack the top 4 spots. The best thing he can do is exactly what he's doing right now. Push Caleb Gafera away, get him away from his teammates, away from the rest of the group, regardless of even having teammates or not. We really haven't seen these kids work together all too much, but for Kai Hunter to push Caleb Gafera away, to make it a 2-man fight is I think his best course of action here with still 5 laps remaining, because otherwise you start going to the lead right now, you might be half a tenth better, but the draft's going to keep everyone close, and there's 5 or 6 ones that all they're banking on is one more move for the lead. Chase Buscalia there, going by for Stephen Miller's 3rd spot. That's going to allow DeLong to close back up again. That'll allow Eisert to stay close. Jared Clark is getting closer and closer. He was purple a couple laps ago. That honor's been taken by Finnegan Bailiff and Colin Lloyd, who are driving forward into the top 10. So if we're not, if the front 2 start to duel, I mean, we could really have 10 drivers together, and having that many in a pack, Jerry, that's scary to watch, because you normally don't see that stay at 10 for long.
Yeah, I mean, you get the whole group together, but eventually, Xander, it's going to explode. Something's going to happen, contact somewhere, and drivers are going to have to go here in order to miss it. But yeah, if these lead 2 do fight, we are probably going to see something of that sort. But I'm definitely expecting Hunter to continue to push until the white flag. But yeah, everyone here in the top 5, CDR, RPG, CDR, and then James Miller and KR there. I'm not quite sure what team that is. But yeah, Miller down the inside of his teammate Buscalia for probably the 4th or 5th time in this race. They can't really seem to decide what order they want to get back up to this lead too, because each lap you see Hunter and Gafera's, he's been really quick yesterday, really quick today, just really flexing that pace. It's tough to watch Buscalia and Miller fight and watch these 2 run away with it, because if they could just sit and push, they would either stay stagnant to that gap or slowly close it back up.
I think stagnant's a good word to describe as well. 5th on back, right? We've watched Parker DeLong, the privateer for James Newell, no team for the 923. Him and his brother Sam and their dad, an independent operation. But again, they've caught up to the top 4. They've caught up to Buscalia and Miller at least, and they just kind of sat there. Same for DeLong, same for Eisert. If they were faster or at least even in speed, I would have thought that they would have made some dives on them. But all they've been really able to do is kind of throw it in on each other like that, with Eisert making a move on DeLong. And this is where kind of the broadcast is tough to show that last little nuance of the fact that sometimes you have the speed to hang, not the speed to fight. And that means, basically that the draft on the long straightaways kind of pulls them back up, but they don't quite have the go-kart good enough through the corners, that drive off the corner, or maybe even that drive at the end of the straightaway to make some noise, to make something happen. If they start white lining and blocking like this right here, well, then it's anyone's guess of who comes out on top. But when they were single file like that, that's where that kind of stagnation happens, because you're just really not going to break away in this division at this racetrack, but you definitely can kind of weed out the field a little bit and hope on some mistakes of your drivers behind you. Either way, down to turn 8, Gafera, Hunter, Miller, down on the inside, and we've got 8 of them in frame.
Yeah, 8 in the frame, not exactly the 10 we were talking about earlier, but Eisert now down the inside, gonna get that move done on Newell, and DeLong going to follow through. Clark now looking for the move on Newell over the curb, and going to get a little bit of airtime there. White flag in the air. Gafera down to the inside. Hunter going to go even lower, going to get the move done. And now he's going to look back, and he's going to see 3 CDR carts right behind him. Gafera looking for it up the hill, not going to get it.
I almost thought Gafera might have knocked that front bumper of his behind, and now him and Hunter collide again as both of them look and go, hey, what are you doing? No, what are you doing to me right there? Either way, it is Stephen Miller now split in the middle. He'll go to second. Now he tries the inside at 6 into the side of Kai Hunter, who goes to the dirt. Miller to the lead, and he'll block it down low. Gafera to second. Look at Parker DeLong. Super P around the outside with a superhero move. He'll get put in the dirt, but he's going to gain some spots out of it. Gafera trying the high side now in turn 9. He'll have the momentum, and Caleb G to the lead up the hill to the final turn. Now, last corner, down the inside. Everyone's going to stay the same. Gafera wins the opening heat in KA Senior B and C. But that one even rougher, I think, than the first one. And Kai Hunter not happy with Stephen Miller. And you can see he took his time to pick up the throttle there out of turns 1 and 2 and checked over the shoulder to just stare him down, I think, a little bit, saying, hey, you didn't need to do that move that took us both out of the top spot in heat number 1 of the race weekend.
Yeah, that was so much happened within such small time frame there, Xander. It was really hard to keep up with, but yeah, Gafera going to get the win in the first heat, B versus C. Stephen Miller in P2, Hunter, DeLong, Iser, Buscalia, Clark, Lloyd, Rivera, Miller,
Well, there's a look at the rest of them. We'll go back to show you the last couple of the drivers here. McKendry, Drew James, Raheem Alibi, all unfortunately unable to finish, but 15 did. And of the 18 that started, let's see how we got here with our Coastal Link custom printing race recap from a wild finale to the KA Senior opening batch of heat races. Caleb Gafera and Stephen Miller, when a team locks out the front row, you kind of expect them to hook up and try to pull away, but that was not the case at all. Kai Hunter first did everything he could to split them up and went right to work on the very first couple of corners, but he just didn't quite get clear, and they were able to get around him, and he had to kind of go back to neutral to rebound to third there with that move on Andrew Hamill. But luckily, they did some of the work for him, Jerry. They began fighting early, back and forth. They allowed Buscalia to get in the mix. Then Kai kind of went back on Chase, and all the while that next group was following. And had Drew James and Seamus McKendry not gone out, they might have joined that lead pack because there was so much fighting, especially towards the end. But even still in the middle, I mean, there was drivers left, right, and center, and still all connected to the leaders.
Yeah, it got really chaotic there, but yeah, Gafera now able to get that move done back to the lead. Going into the first corner, everyone panning out. Still Gafera in the lead. Kai Hunter down the inside here to block. Gafera to the inside. Hunter going to try to over-under him, get a good around the exit.
And that was all normal, right? Then here, this is where things started to get crazy. First, Caleb over-unders, little tap as he kind of was, going for the crossover. And I think Kai, I don't know if he expected that or how they collided, but then this was crazy.
Yeah.
Absolutely insane. Stephen Miller, four-wheel jumping on the curb trying to go for it. And then, to be fair, he cut Caleb a break. He could have drove him out into the dirt. He didn't. He allowed him to stay alongside, and Caleb rolled that momentum off the cushion and ended up crossing the line first. But again, crossing the line first versus getting credited with the heat win, those are two very different things. And we've got more track cleanup, more officiating review to do. Give us the moment to take a moment for ourselves, take a break, catch our breath. For Jerry Fanny, myself, Xander Clements, there's more to come from Trackhouse Motorplex. IAME USA Grand National Championship rolls on. Mini Swift, X30 Junior, and X30 Pro still yet to run their opening heats on the weekend. Are you ready to get behind the wheel? From Formula One to NASCAR and IndyCar, all the pros start here. For more information, check us out online at mcckarting.com or call us and go racing today.
This is Henry. Henry feels sad. Henry feels sad because it's time for his next big race and his go-kart is in bits. Henry doesn't know that Acceleration Kart Racing is the United States' #1 shop for all of your karting equipment needs. Henry also doesn't know that Acceleration Kart Racing can deliver anything from tires to race suits and even wheels directly to your front door or to the racetrack itself, quickly and efficiently, with tech support available 6 days a week. Poor Henry doesn't even know that Acceleration Kart Racing offers free shipping to mainland USA on selected product if you spend $200 or more. Do yourself a favor. Go to accelerationkarting.com and make sure that you are never left stuck on the pre-grid with Henry. Be smart and don't be like Henry.
Mini Swift coming to the end of their warm-up lap here as they'll take the cut through down at turn number 3. With the field all packed together from the K Junior and K Senior classes that had them split in half. Mini Swift has everyone all on the racetrack. It'll be the biggest number of karts we've had take the green here so far today. So let's take a look at them from the left side there. Wolf and Royce Vega were two of the top qualifiers. They start first and third. But Nico Katowski with a very impressive run on that J&M Racing Sodi, the independent operation, him and his brother Jack. One in micro, one in mini. Both qualified exceptionally well here today. Callan Berghofer as well in the top couple rows. Kason Hodge also. And now, as the field heads down the tram lines, they've got to wait all the way to those blue cones to accelerate. I think they're a little early, but it'll be good enough for the green. Racing down to turn number 1, and Royce Vega will quickly move up into second. Katowski to third. Looks like they've all gotten up the hill to turn number 3 as they head down the backstretch, and Cade Wolf's going to take them to the low side and defend the bottom.
Yeah, immediately to the inside for Cade Wolf, fending off the inside from Royce Vega and company. Nico Katowski in third, Kason Hodge into the 4th position. I believe 5th actually now, as Berghofer has got past him in the Energy Go-Kart. Going through the turn 5 and 6 complex, now down into the turn 8 hairpin, immediately back to the white line. Down to the inside, going to fade back to the racing line a little bit. No positions there made. And I believe that's Josh Bergman into the 6th position. He's going to make a move now on the inside of Kason Hodge. Going to get that move done. Going to put Hodge into Sodi back to 6th, Sander. And yeah, going into this last corner, it's still Cade Wolf, Vega, and Ashton Woon making a move on the 137 CRG car.
Ashton Woon, the Super Tune USA Paralympian, getting by on Nicholas Mose right there. So P7, where did everyone end up? Looks like we've got all of the pack together here with one lap completed. All just kind of up or down about 1 or 2 spots. The biggest losers, unfortunately, there were Parker Ives and Cameron Johnson. They fell outside the top 10. Good news, though, we're fighting for the lead. Vega now to the point with in tow. Cade Wolf now tucking back in line to second. Was able to fend off Katowski for just a 1-spot loss. And look at this, lots of kind of half moves, thinking about it, maybe then backing out. And there was an attempt from Nicholas Mose, didn't work. This one, first successful pass out of the top 10, and just Josh Bergman. And sadly, Callan Berghofer kind of caught that outside rumble strip. And, you know, you can attest to that, Jared. When you touch one of those outside rumble strips with the front tire as you're turning, you aren't turning anymore. You're going straight.
Yeah, it really just upsets the cart. And at that point, you know, you're kind of just a passenger for the rest of that corner. And yeah, Ives now down the inside of Woon, going to get the move done. Cameron Johnson also behind there in tow. But yeah, now we have a little bit of a split here. And back to the second group. Hodge now going to go down the inside of Bergen. We're going to get that done. And Marco Samet right behind Josh Bergman. And yeah, like I was talking about, a little bit of the split here, Xander. Royce Vega, Cade Wolf, Nico Katowski. And then back to the second group. with Nicholas Mose now down the inside of Holden Myers.
More moves up in front again. Kason Hodge on that Sodi looking really strong. Lots of kudos to him. Berghofer trying to get back forward again. He's now going to get shuffled to the high side. Big move from Nicholas Mose, and they're all going to send him through. Ives through. Woon trying to go as well. Berghofer's going to go back around 3 spots. Callan will try to get back down to the inside as Marco Samet is just trapped back there in 11th with nowhere to go. He'll finally get an one position as Nicholas Mose gets kind of trampled around and ends up outside the top 10. He'll tuck in line just ahead of Cameron Johnson's Merlin. So 3 laps into this 13-lap heat race here for the Mini Swift drivers. Royce Vega and Cade Wolf, Josh Bergman. They're up the road a little bit from Josh Bergman there with Katowski in line and Hodge kind of by himself in 4th as there's Holden Myers falling back. We said Parker Ives went back 4 positions off that start. Well, he has gone right to work. How about this for the 148? He's going to end up with a net gain of a couple as they climb the hill here to turn number 11.
Yeah, Parker Ives making moves left and right, and he's going to set his sights now on the back of Josh Bergman. A little further back, I believe that's Simon Jack Klein making a move on Berghofer, and not going to be able to see if that one got done or not. But back to this second group here, Parker Ives and everyone in tow. And I believe Ives just reached down for the carburetor, not something you see too often here, Xander.
No, they are able to. It's the same style of needle carburetors that the KA juniors, seniors, X30 senior drivers, and X30 juniors can adjust on. Normally, most drivers and parents and coaches are like, hey, don't worry about the engine. We'll tune that up. Parker Ives showing how confident he feels in his own abilities and what he's been coached on, that he can even make those adjustments on the fly himself. Because it's really tough to be precise. I can personally attest to it. Half the time when I'll make those adjustments on the track, I'm having to do a second or a third turn because I turned it too much or too little, or didn't turn it all the first time. Because you only need to turn it just a little bit, as they describe it, a couple of minutes, as if it's a full clock. Parker Ives, a little adjustment, and last time by, he was faster than the leaders by 1/10.5, and you can tell they're pushing. They're trying to build that gap away. Vega with Myers with Wolf and Katowski, they have not traded positions at all.
Yeah, and Kason Hodge behind the Sodi car is slowly falling back. And nothing much Kason to do there. Not much help from behind as Ives and Holden Myers are a little too far back to help him out now. But about halfway through here, Vega still leading. Wolf in second, Nico Katowski in third on the J&M Kart. And coming down into the last corner here, Ives, Holden Myers, Berghofer right behind in 7th, Ashton in 8th, Marco Samet 9th, and rounding out your top 10 is Josh Bergman.
So with Josh Bergman right now on that Kart Republic going all the way back after being inside the top 5, he's got to be able to just clean those tires off and try to put in some good laps and slowly pick the field back apart one by one. Yes, they're a little more spread out and there's more work to do, but if you are fast, it's actually a little bit easier than if the pack is all stacked up, because at that point the speed doesn't matter, and one little hiccup or kind of wrong decision of which lane to pick could cost you multiple positions. Whereas when they get spread out like this and there's packs of 1, 2, or 3, well, if you're fast enough to move the chains and jump up the boards, it's pretty cut and dry and simple, and they're not going to fight you that hard, because all that they're going to do, they being the driver that you pass, is just cost you both time, because they're not going to be able to shuffle you to the weeds, to 5 more drivers, send you all the way back into 5 or 10 more in a pack. But if the leaders fight, if they back up to you and they back up to everyone else in front of you, that could change. Now, Mini Swift Heat 1, I believe we just had a red bar go to the top. I don't know if a red flag's out. I think we might be going red here, folks. And there it is. Yeah, red flag out. And and Callan Berghofer did not expect the drivers in front to slow down as much as he did. He's gone around. He'll be okay, because this is going to go back a lap prior. Not sure who is the driver involved. It looks like it might be the only one that didn't cross the line that time was Vion Bindi. And up and over, sadly, for it looks to be the 196 of Vion Bindi. So hopefully we can get more intel on that driver, but that is going to take us under our first pause in the action we have had, at least first unscheduled pause in the action over the last day and a half in the opening heat for Mini Swift. X30 Junior still on grid, X30 Pro to follow, folks. We'll give you more as we learn more. For now, we're going to step to the side and gather some intel as the Mini Swift drivers have hit the halfway mark and sadly hit a stopping point in heat number 1 with a red flag. All right, everyone, we've got the update now. Vion Bindi has been checked out by the on-site medical team, but being that this heat race was past the halfway mark with 7 laps complete and working through lap number 8, it has been made official. Royce Vega is your Heat 1 winner in Mini Swift. Cade Wolf is second, Nico Katowski third, Kaysen Hodge. Great run for Kaysen on the 198 Sodi. He ends up in the 4th spot. Parker Ives, I mean, talk about a rebound charge there, Jerry. Goes from outside in the top 10 to out the top 10 to back into P5. Great recovery for Parker. Holden Myers as well. Solid performance in 6th. Berghofer, Wound, Sam at Masha, your top 10. So with Josh Bergman back in 11th. And the rest of the Mini Swift drivers, again, we'll take a look back to the rest of the field. For the couple that did not finish, again, Vion Bindi in the 196. We saw him unfortunately go out. There were 2 more as well that went out on the opening lap, but all the way back to Riley Dobelier, 23 of the original starters were able to finish heat number 1 from Mini Swift. That leaves us with 2 more divisions to roll. X30 Junior currently on deck. X30 Pro will roll. Now, we do have some updates for those of you that are trying to vote your favorite KA senior driver into the KA shootout. Well, Aiden Levy leads the overall in the fan vote. However, he has qualified as the 9th driver after heat and qualifying points have been totaled. So Levy going in automatically means that the fan vote now goes to the next in line. Emery Lida leads the standings by just a handful of markers over Peyton Phillips and Lucas Zabo. And those 3 will be battling it out over the next hour on the Facebook comment section to see how many more fans they can get to vote them in. The poll now all of a sudden is wide open with Aiden Levy making it easy for the rest of the field because he was leading by nearly double everyone else's votes, Jerry, and now he's raced his way in. So the fan vote for KA Senior, it's still going. It will go all the way through the end of this broadcast as we get set to head to the Fast 5 shootouts plus Supermotor picks. So the Fast 7 for X30 for KA Junior and Micro Swift tonight. So KA Junior, Micro Swift, you need to check the Discord for the official word of whether or not you pointed your way into the top 5, or if you were lucky enough to get one of those 2 promoters picks and to race for $1,000 later on this evening as the undercard to the CNC Performance Engineering KA shootout. There's one kid that definitely could be a factor tonight in KA Junior and Enzo Vidmontian, but he's got work to do in X30 Junior. The same for him and his teammate Lucas Palacio. They're 8th and 10th. This class was about a 10th back to position number 6 and number 7, Jerry. Lot of close times given throughout the X30 Junior qualifying session, and they've still got a few more minutes to consider their moves and their battle before they head onto the racetrack for heat number 1.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting, Xander. We took a look at these 2 earlier today, Palacio and Vidmontian. I believe we took a look at them in KA. And, yeah, a little bit of work to do here for Enzo. And, yeah, even more work for Palacio right behind him. So it's going to be interesting to see, what the game plan is for those 2, if Enzo's going to work with Lucas at all. And, yeah, it's going to be interesting to see, Xander.
Once again, the drivers that have qualified for the shootouts here, KA Junior and Micro Swift, will announce those in the pits so they can begin prep because they will be heading into prep work for tomorrow if they're not paying close attention that they've got a chance to race for an extra $1,000 cash tonight. And some of those drivers might be the KA Juniors currently on, or the KA Juniors that are also competing in X30 Junior and are down on the grid right now. So there's a lot to keep in mind for tonight's layout. And tonight is the Super Speedway layout that is going to be so much fun to watch. Cannot wait to keep an eye on how all that is going to pan out through the evening because there is a lot of raceability in the layout tonight. A lot of high-speed action, couple 180 hairpins, and the support class shootouts, once again, the drivers are permitted 1 set of tires, could be brand new or used, but being in the support classes were added last second and didn't pay the higher entry fee of the premier classes, KA Senior and X30 Pro, they have to bring their own tires. You can buy a new set, you can bring a set of scuffs, whatever you want to do to go race for $1,000 with a quick quali, and then a race on a layout nobody has driven before. In fact, this has always been the tradition of the IAME Grands. Only so many layout combinations you can make. Eventually, we're going to run out of options. But tonight, it's a new one for KA Senior for KA Junior and for Micro Swift. So for the Micro Swift drivers, the drivers that have qualified automatically into the top 5 to tonight's shootout, Marcelo Flores from SLA Kart Racing is in. Lawrence Perriman on the BJR MDR crew entry is in. Slate Harrell, the top qualifier for Super Tune USA, has qualified for the Micro Shootout, along with Santiago Orioli and Jaden Francisco. 2 more promoters' picks to be announced here shortly. And then when you look over to KA Junior, we'll have their total points kind of qualified for the night. Ty Fisher, Max Weiland, Forrest Adams, Chase Gassiet-Lee, and the last driver that qualified on the points, Enzo Vidmontien, by 1 point over Nathan Dupuis, has automatically qualified to go into the the Fast 7 shootout tonight. So Enzo Vidmontien, Chase Gassiet-Lee, they both are getting ready for X30 Junior. The same for Ty Fisher and Max Weiland. Those 4 out of our 5 KA Juniors are about to go on the racetrack right now, and then they got to go back to their pits and line up. There's a look at Max. He's fired up, as he should be. He's going to get a chance to race for $1,000 later on this evening. Forrest Adams, only KA Junior specialist, if you will, of the 5 that have transferred through. And then again, there'll be 2 additional promoters picks. So if you're a KA Junior or Micro Swift driver, don't leave the pit area yet. We'll be announcing those promoter picks here very, very soon. Actually, they just have been announced now over onto the Discord, which means that the X30 Junior or the KA Junior division has had a couple of additional promoter picks. And along with the top 5 ending at Vidmontien, Nathan Dupuis, Alexander Vanchev, Amador Martinez, Travis Pettit, Isaac Malcuit are now going to make it a grand total of 10 into the KA Junior shootout. And when it comes to the Micro Swift promoter picks, well, it is Isaac Carvalho, Wynn Godshock, and Zane Burgess. That will be the promoter picks that have transferred in as well. All of that just got posted a minute ago to the Trackhouse Motorplex official Discord. You can join the Discord on social media as well if you're not a part already. Many of you in the live chat have been asking, where is the live timing, the results for all of this event? We are live on the Alpha Race Hub app or at alphalive.co.uk. So live.alphatiming.co.uk/IAME Grand Nationals. We'll pin that in the live stream chat for you guys to be able to see as well. All of this, again, these Fast 5 shootouts and the CNC Performance Engineering $4,000 to win K100 Senior Shootout. That will be free to view later tonight when we wrap up the heat races. So make sure to share the link with your friends and family. Expose the awesome sport that we've got here in top-level kart racing to the world. And, well, while you may not have yourself as one of the entries in the CNC PEKA shootout, the fan vote is still very close. And with Aiden Levy pointing his way in, it is anyone's guess who's going to get the last ticket to the dance for that KA shootout later on tonight. But they're still waiting a few more moments here for X30 Junior, so we're kind of giving you a couple close-up glamour shots of the field, the last few drivers. And again, we'll go all the way back to that lime green TB kart of Ty Fisher. We watched that heartbreaking moment in qualifying where the kart did not fire. He did not make it out for a single lap. The good news about that, Jerry, he's got sticker MG red tires ready to head onto the racetrack. One less heat cycle than everyone so far. So with a slightly smaller field, that new rubber could be a pretty sizable advantage on the first session.
Yeah, Xander. I mean, even though it is, only the difference of, say, 7-8 laps, we're going to see that advantage he's going to have here, having new rubber and, being at the rear of this field. He's going to be able to, keep an eye into the first corner, see where everyone's panning out, and, from there, hopefully make it through clean and, make moves from there to slowly work his way back up the field. It was definitely unfortunate to see the engine not start, but, he's got an opportunity here to get those positions back.
With still more to go while the sun begins to slowly work its way down behind the tree line here, folks, from Trackhouse Motorplex. There is the command for the engines to fire. The first of the final 2 heat races on the afternoon. It's sunset hour, and then we're going night racing here at Trackhouse Motorplex with X30 Junior and X30 Pro. The last 2 classes on the lineup today. Tomorrow they'll move up earlier in the lineup because they will get their shot under the lights for shootout racing action. The MG Tires X30 Shootout paying a massive total to win tomorrow night. So lots of cash, lots of prizes, and well, we've got all that in store later. But it seems like we've had it all on the line all afternoon for the opening round of heats. This has been crazy racing action, a lot of entertaining moves and moments, and we're ready, I think, for probably some more of that here in X30 Junior, because it was as close as you can get it in qualifying here, Jerry. 7 to 8 tenths from pole sitter Fianchy down to Peyton Westcott. Less than just a handful of hundredths through the entire first 4 rows. And that's what's kind of got a little bit of a different look to the first 2. She, Vanchev, Nate Golseth, Davin Roberts starting 1, 2, 3, 4.
Yeah, Chase Gasly at lead in row 3 next to Mad Max Weiland, Peyton Westcott, Enzo Vidmont, Tristan Murphy, Lucas Palacio rounding out in row 5 in the 10th position.
Then back on to Amador Martinez and Jose Halfen on row number 6. William Kim, Yago Lempin on row 7, with Ty Fisher alone on row 8. Jackson Olney showing up in the X30 Junior class. He's actually advanced and graduated to the X30 Pro division. We'll see him momentarily when he lines the grid for the headline division from the IAME USA Grand National Championship. So Wolney on the 703. He's going to retire that number. He'll be in the 396 machine, I believe, when they go racing later on. But that's, again, X30 Juniors grid, 17 drivers strong, ready to put on a show for you as we slowly race our way into the night here in Mooresville, North Carolina. And it's been a hot day. The heat index has been insane. The drivers have been having to take care of themselves and the equipment. Now we're getting to that little bit cooler temperatures. The track starting to, kind of cool back down, and we might see some very quick lap times from this heat race. Might even be a little bit better than their quali session. I'm curious how good that green machine does from the back of the field with fresh rubber.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see here. It's a little cooler. Track temp's going down a little bit. The air is probably a little better for X30 Juniors here coming to the line. Will we see the green flag? Yes, we will. Fianchy immediately to the inside. A little bit of contact there between Alex Vanchev and Nate Golseth. Now going up the hill into turn 3 and down the back straight, Sander.
All right, single file there up front, but looking to go double. Nate Golseth right behind Fianchy, couple of young guns leading the way, and around the outside, Max Weiland's trying to make up some spots. Looks like he might have got 1 or 2 there. Ripping the high side in the pole. Fianchy leading us through turn 6, and now Nate Golseth, he's got a bumper full of Alex Vanchev, and he knows it. Trying to cover low. Vanchev's going to go. Roberts will go, and I think Golseth might be able to just hang on ahead of Chase Gasly at lead for the 4th spot. And that'll put Chase on the high side now. Peyton Westcott trying to get through. She cannot. She'll drop back to 6th. Enzo Vidmontien 7th. Up the hill, Tristan Murphy there 8th, side by side for 9th. Amador Martinez runs Weiland wide. And look at that, Ty Fisher's already picked up about 7 spots here at the end of the opening lap.
Yeah, and as you say that, Ty Fisher's going to grab another one down the inside of the 791 RPG cart. He's going to set his sights forward on the Tristan Murphy in the RPM cart. And now back to the front here, Xander, Fianchy, Alexander Vanchev, Davin Roberts are going to be looking to push to get away from that second group, to have a little bit of separation so that they can afford to fight. And, if that doesn't happen, we're going to be seeing just about the entire X30 Junior field here in this lead group.
Let's see the move in turn 8, how much that cost them time-wise. Definitely hurt Fianchy. He kind of got bottled up as Davin Roberts followed to second. They are fighting behind him, though. You saw Enzo Vidmontien sending it on the inside of Nate Golseth there in turn 9. That's going to shuffle Nate all the way down to the 8th position. He goes low to block from Amador Martinez in 11. And we've just changed up our top 5, top 7 again. Fisher up halfway already. 8 spots gained for Ty Fisher from the back with fresh rubber, having missed out on qualifying. And he's on the cusp of the leaders. But for the first time, they will not pass in turn 4 through the entire top 10 single file as we begin to calm things back down. But your front row will be antsy to get back to their original starting spots. Fianchy back to 3rd, Vanchev to the lead, Roberts 2nd, and we're gonna watch some moves back down the top 10. Fisher through, and it looked like Weiland was trying to go. He did, but it got a little bit messy going by on Golseth, and Lucas Palacio was able to get by as well.
Yeah, able to get that move done there. Palacio was also able to follow through behind on Mad Max Weiland. And yeah, a little bit of work to do for Palacio so far. A little bit further back for now. And looking back at this lead group here, Xander.
Max Weiland on the Magic card has been up, down, high, low, and woohoo, Lucas Palacio got really out of shape as well. Beyond that, though, our top couple have started to just kind of slow the race back down a bit. Vanchev, Roberts riding nicely. Chase Gassi at least caught up. We'll see if he makes any noise there in 4th, or Enzo Vidmontien in 5th. At the same time, let's hear from some of our superstars on the grid. Brandon Carr is standing by down on pit lane here for this X30 Pro opening heat race.
Well, Brandon, you and the driver next to you, Dalton Haynes, kind of the same strategy in qualifying. You know, go out there and do your own lap times. Dalton kind of told me he thought that you two were pretty quick in qualifying, but then you look at the results and you were 10th and 11th apiece. What do you think you could have done differently in qualifying to start further up the field?
Yeah, definitely. We could have done. I could have done a better job on track, just trying to find that better track position. I got the chase, but not so much the toe, which could have helped us a little bit. But we changed the kart for this one. I think it's going to be all right. So we're just going to go and see what happens, really.
Watching some of the heat races here, what have you kind of learned, if anything, or what have you learned from years past coming here to Trackhouse Motorplex that you can kind of apply to this first heat race?
Well, so far it seems like everything's been quite chilled out, really. So we just got to play the race as it is. We can't make it a race when it's just going to be a nice chilled pass gap instead of chaos. But things could change. You don't know what's going to happen up front. So everything that we've learned from this year is this is the one that it's a one-off race. So it's like this in Vegas. You just go out and go and win. So that's the aim for this weekend.
It's not often we come to a racetrack under the lights. Yesterday you had some practice at this exact layout, obviously in practice 4 through 6. Did the track change at all when we head into the night?
Not really. The track was quite similar. It's a lot different to drive because you got the lights, it's dark, it feels a lot looser, but the track's still fast. So I think when the heat goes away, which it has now, I think the track will be good in this one.
Thank you, Brandon.
Thank you.
Thank you, Alex and Brandon Carr, as they head out at turn number 8. Here's a look. Alexander Vanchev, Davin Roberts, Enzo Vidmontien, 1, 2, 3. Headed out at turn number 9 and up the hill. Towards the last turn, Vidmontien has chipped away through the pack here, and he'll take over second. So Enzo picks up another position there, 6 down. Long way to go still as they're just working number 7. And the new tire benefit for Ty Fisher, right? It is going to help throughout the entirety of the run, but that, you're going to get that kind of what they call the rate of the decreasing rate of return. It's not going to matter as much both during the course of the session and as we run more and more heat races. Right now is his best opportunity to make up for maybe any lack of pace or get an edge up on the field. And he's going to try and take advantage of it. Into the inside for the lead, into the inside for Fisher for 4th. Vidmontien leads, Vanchev 2nd, Roberts 3rd, and the Lime Green machine is now up double-digit positions and well inside the top 5 ahead of Chase Gassi at lead.
Yeah, Ty Fisher on the Race Lab TV kart there was able to get by Gassi at lead there in the Hairpin 8. And at the same time, Vidmontien also making a move to the lead where he likes to be. And yeah, this lead group here pretty much extends all the way back to P11 of Nate Golseth with Tristan Murphy about 2 seconds back in the P12 position. But yeah, Enzo out front where he likes to be. Vanchev in 2nd, Roberts in 3rd, Fisher in 4th, Gassi at lead 5th. And yeah, coming through the 5-6 complex here, and down the little short chute here into turn 8. And down the inside, Davin Roberts, Fisher pushing him through, telling him, you ain't backing out, you gotta go. And then Roberts getting the 2nd position with Ty Fisher in 3rd. Vanchev now down to 4th from P2.
Coming to the line this time by 8 laps complete, 7 laps to go. We'll look for another move from Chase Gassi at lead to go back forward. Peyton Westcott looking for somewhere to take that 789 machine. She's got speed in it, but no change, no net gain at least. Now with just past the halfway mark, and Enzo Vidmontien is starting to set sail. Ty Fisher trying to be the next one to challenge as he goes by on Davin Roberts there in turn 4. He'll take over P2, and we'll go down the pit lane to a young gun, a superstar that's just also, like Jackson, only moved up from the junior ranks and had a very impressive qualifying effort. Nick Eggleston. Alex?
Thank you, Xander. To me, one of the coolest stories of the weekend so far. Nick Eggleston, your first ever senior race, put at P4 in X30 Pro. I mean, what were the emotions like after that qualifying?
It was pretty good. I didn't think, I had no expectation to come into this race and being up at the front, kind of. And we'll just see how the race goes on from here right now, so yeah.
Coming from the junior side, especially more on the road tax for you this year, now on the pro side, have you learned anything throughout the practices, in terms of how these guys drive compared to the junior drivers?
Everyone's a lot more consistent and aggressive compared to junior, for sure. I mean, junior, like, people will start to slow down a lot faster, and senior, everyone just stays the same pace.
Heading into your first senior heat race, what are the nerves like? Are you remaining calm?
I'm remaining pretty calm. Just try to stay focused right now and not pay attention. Just dive in the senior.
Thank you, Nix.
All right, thank you.
There you have it from Nix Eggleston. Alexander Searle getting us quite a bit of a look into the insides of the thought process, what everyone's feeling, getting ready to go out under the lights here. And Nix Eggleston, a rookie, can you imagine the nerves when it's almost kind of a good and a bad thing, really, but maybe more so, a tough thing to qualify so good and then have to line up against your heroes, drivers you've lined the fence to watch and learn from and, idolize over the years. Nix Eggleston's going to have to get his elbows out and go head-to-head against some of the best, and he's out-qualified some of the best already, so they know they're going to be trying to take advantage of him, and in the same way, Ty Fisher is trying to take advantage of that fresh tire deal that he has after missing quali. He's just gone to the lead in this group. Well, they're at least going to secure him a top 3 because they are going at it for P4 right now, Jerry.
Yeah, I mean, the gap last time by was about 1.2 back. We're gonna take a look at that gap this time by. Is now Peyton Westcott down the inside of Vanchev. At the same time, right behind them, Chase Gassiet down the inside of Fianchi.
Big moment there up and over the curb. And the dirt outside of turns 2 and 3. He hung on to it, but that's going to, man, what a downward spiral it's been for our front row driver.
Yeah, it's definitely tough, Sander. We've seen Fion start on the front row and just slowly fall back. He was starting to make a little bit of forward progress, but with that group in front of him fighting, you can only go so far. And that gap last time by 1.2 to the lead group, now 1.9 as Mad Max goes down the inside of Chase Gassiet lead. Palacio trying to get through. Oh, contact Palacio around.
Oh, and into the back, Nate Golseth and Amador Martinez as well. And Golseth ends up as the lone driver, unable to continue. No, Martinez is going to the pit lane.
Yeah, Martinez is going to be out early in this one. Not what you want to see for a driver that's been slowly working his way back into that lead group. And, yeah, definitely tough as Nate Golseth throws his neck brace there.
Yeah, he's frustrated. I don't blame him either. That's hurt. That hurts a lot, especially when you have a good run going. But it's only Heat 1, long weekend ahead. They're on a completely different track layout tomorrow for Heats 2 and 3 as well. So you can make up for it, but it definitely ends your Friday on a bit of a somber note. For Ty Fisher, though, this is as good as you can turn around a day, from not being able to turn a single lap in qualifying to driving from last all the way up to the lead. He'll see the double sticks at the line this time by. 13 complete, 2 to go, and the Canadian is trying to get himself a heat race victory and really put himself in a prime spot for that super heat race on Sunday morning. Vid Montien, Davin Roberts as well. Got to give a big tip of the cap to Davin for hanging on strong here with the leaders. He has a best lap that's nearly 3/10 slower than Fisher. It's 2/10 slower than Enzo Vid Montien, but Davin Roberts has been consistent. He's played a smart race, and he's going to be there here as the battling is about to begin down into turn number 8. Vid Montien and Fisher right there, but no move yet from Enzo.
Yeah, I think Enzo is just trying to manage that gap a little bit back to Roberts. Try to extend it a little bit so, he can have a little bit of leniency to be able to fight with Ty, try to keep Roberts out of it. But, yeah, that is definitely coming to an end now as we come around the last corner and we get the white flag.
1 lap to go. Ty's going to go about center track in turn 1. Enzo, crossover, nose low, nose high, and back to the inside. No, almost in turn 3. Couldn't quite get there. Down the backstretch. Look how dirty it is on the inside. It's also really dirty on the outside now, but no one's going to try and go into that uncharted territory area, and they will stay the same through 5 and 6. Half a lap to go. Ty Fisher's hanging on. Vid Montien low. Let's see what Davin Roberts can do to the high side. He'll go all the way around the outside, and they make contact, and that's going to break both of their momentum. Enzo to the lead in turn 9.
Enzo to the lead in turn 9, like you said, Xander. Fisher's still behind until we're going to see if he's going to be close enough to plant an attack move. I don't believe he's going to be. Enzo going to go about half track in, half track out, and Enzo's going to take the win here in our first X30 Junior Heat.
Vid Montien, Fisher, Roberts, Peyton Westcott, and Alexander Vanchev kind of arriving there right at the end of it. And there you can see Chase Gassiet Lee, who was in the fight in the top 5 early, ends up down with a 9th place result. Lucas Palacio gets that box checked his first career X30 Junior Heat race in the books. P8, Fianchi. Good recovery drive back up to 7th, but definitely a little heartbreaking when you consider that he got to lead us to green. Again, the good part, he gets to do that again for Heat 2 and for Heat 3. He's got 2 more tries to get a heat race win, or at least a couple results a little better than a P7. Max Weiland, great run to get to the leaders late as well. P6 for the Magic Car driver behind Alexander Vanchev. And then again, the DNFs at the bottom. Let's see how we got here with our Coastal Link custom printing recap before the X30 Pros roll onto the racetrack, and a wild one in your X30 Juniors opening heat race, at least about midway through. To begin, though, Fianchi, Nate Golseth, Alexander Vanchev. I don't know if the odds would have put them to qualify and end the first couple turns 1, 2, 3 over the pack, but they did, although they began to fight, and that kind of kept everyone close. First, Vanchev going on by. At the same time, we were watching Ty Fisher taking advantage of a little bit fresher rubber from the bad luck and misfortune of missing out on qualifying, march up the grid. Enzo Vidmontan was doing the same, just from kind of a so-so effort that put him outside the top 5, but in the top 10. And Chase Gassi and Lee, same kind of boat as Enzo, just moving forward, couple spots here and there, until eventually later on the race things got crazy. First, we saw it really spread out though. Then Peyton Westcott shoving Chase Gassi at Lee through, and then going by on Chase in turn 8 while the leaders traded hands in up the road. It started to get closer and closer to the limit. You saw Fianchi going into the dirt, losing 5 or 6 spots, and then right here is where they were 3 wide. Palacio then back down to 2, back to 3, and Lucas kind of got tripped up off the rear bumper of Max Weiland, and they all just had nowhere to go, piled into him, and that took a number of contenders out. That just gave us the final 3 to battle it out in turn 8. Even here, it could have gotten really nasty for Davin Roberts. He did a great job hanging on to that thing.
Yeah, Roberts still able to, salvage a P3 out of that. Enzo able to get the win. Fisher from dead last to 2nd. And yeah, that is going to cap off your Coastal Link printing recap, the X30 Junior.
We've still got the X30 Pro drivers ready to go. The engines have yet to get the command to fire for the final heat race of the afternoon, and Baton cleanup on our order with a very close qualifying run, and talk about a change up in the lineup here. We've got a lot of new faces towards the front of the grid, and a couple faces that aren't so familiar with starting as deep as they will be tonight and all day tomorrow. Hayden Jones in the 316 machine will start on the pole. Alongside him, Paulie Massimino on that BJR MDR LN kart. 9 thousandths of a second, the difference from P1 to P2 for all 3 heat races. We spoke with Nick Eggleston moments ago. The rookie is one of 2 rookies that ended up inside the top 5 in qualifying. The other, Carter McMurray, who will line up P5 aboard his Timmy Tech comp car right behind fast Frankie Mossman. Mossman was just a couple of hundredths away from sweeping the poles in both KA Senior and X30 Pro. Still, P1, P3, not bad at all for fast Frankie Mossman to be able to line up on the inside lane and in the first 2 rows of all 6 of his heat races. He already had a solid opening heat in the KA class. That's put him into the shootout tonight. Well, he's going to try and roll that momentum here in his X30 car before he goes back to focus on the 100cc machine from P3 with Eggleston again on the outside, Carter McMurray on the inside behind them on row 3 with Nicholas Terlecki starting P6.
Ryan Norberg, fast Ryan Norberg starting on the outside of row 4. Next to him, Jacob Kolar. Row number 5, Ataconis and Dalton Haynes.
Brandon Carr, who we spoke with a moment ago, said, yeah, it's this race and it's Vegas that are no points. Put it all on the line, try to bring home some money or bring home the steering wheel at that point. The TKG Kart Republic rolls from 11th alongside Aiden Levy's Ryan Perry Motorsport Tony Kart, who leads the fan vote standings but should not need it based on calculations for the KA shootout. He's going in automatically on merit. Cameron Weinberg and Jackson Wolney will make up an all Kart Republic row 7.
Kieran Rogers on the outside of row 8. Next to him, Josh Holtz. And then on row 9, Pierce Jaso and Santiago Fernandez, a pair of Speed Concepts racing karts.
Christian Blevins Jr. and Henry Lepard will be back on row number 10. And as we take a look to the final row on the field, it'll be Austin Perrin and Mateo Pappas, who Pappas had some issues in qualifying. I believe actually doesn't look to be on the grid, maybe down to just 21, and Mateo solely in the KA classes. I don't see that green and black Orsolone Tony kart So 21 drivers, X30 Pro, Hayden Jones on the inside in the pink and blue, Paulie Massimino in the blue, yellow, and white. BJR MDR machine, we're ready, we're green for X30 Pro Heat 1, and Paulie's gonna rip the high side nicely to get to second as off the racetrack goes Nick Eggleston. The rookie did not get a good jump, cut the track, and he's gonna fall back a number of spots there on the black and orange X-Breed.
Yeah, now Frankie down the inside of McMurray. McMurray holding it hard around the outside, not gonna get it on Frankie. Norberg gonna slot right in behind him in 5th. And yeah, it just seems like Nick's got pushed out a little bit there and had no choice but to go to the exit road. And yeah, now down into the hairpin 8. Norberg going to cover off a run from, I believe, Nick Terlecki and Justin Ataconis behind. And yeah, going to look to set sights forward on Carter McMurray in the 4th position.
Let's see as they cross the line this time where the gaps are going to lie. Hayden Jones, Paulie Massimino leading your field. There's a look at Nick Terlecki just outside the top 5. And again, superstar from 2022, Justin Ataconis is top of the screen. Problems for Cameron Weinberg. He got shuffled to the wayside, and Frankie Mossman's going to pick up 1 right on screen and on cue for position number 2. He gets by on Paulie down there in the first corner, and that's the only really position change we had in the last 3/4 of a lap or full lap in your top 7 spots. Already separated by about a car length. Hayden Jones, the early race leader, to Mossman, Massimino, Carter McMurray looking strong. Massimino felt the heat there. He covered low a little bit, but Carter a little bit wide in turn 8 is going to bring the 9-time champ right to his rear bumper in turn 9.
Yeah, I think something to note, Sanders, I believe we've seen Paulie and Frankie fight pretty hard in the KA Senior Heat. And, you know, that might be something to watch here, you know, because Frankie did just go by Paulie, and I'm sure Paulie's just not going to let that slide.
Yeah, but it is a long heat race, to be fair, Jerry. 15 laps in total, and as they crest the hill towards turn 3, they're all still waiting for their karts to feel a little bit better. Only 2 laps complete is going to bring pressures close, but you're shooting to peak right around lap 8, maybe lap 9. If you're starting further back, maybe at lap 4 or 5, but it's not going to feel great right now. And so you're okay, especially with only 21 in the field on the racetrack and having a good start to give up 1 spot like this as Norberg goes by on McMurray. As long as you don't lose a ton of spots. 1 spot, up or down, not going to really make a big difference at the end of the day. And smart move by Carter McMurray to just kind of let him go and at the same time not jam on the brakes too hard to give Nick Terlecki a chance to make it more than a 1-position loss. So 3 complete now. Fastest driver on the circuit. Well, it's fast Frankie Mossman in the lead pack, but it's actually Dalton Haynes back in the 10th position at a 47.79, and Mossman was trying to take that momentum to the lead, and Hayden Jones was ready for it. He covered that low side off, and there was nowhere for Frankie to go.
Yeah, I mean, especially here at Trackhouse, someone like Hayden, you know, you've seen him here. It's obviously his home track, and he's going to be someone that's going to be hard to pass. Frankie now blocking from Paulie, and he's going to push himself back into Ryan Norberg, and Massimino down the inside, going to get that 2nd position. And McMurray, Ataconis over the back of somebody. That's going to put him back behind Cameron Weinberg.
Yeah, Terlecki had Ataconis as they all stacked up right on his rear bumper, trailering him. Check out Jackson Wolney, the rookie, closing up to Ataconis now. Wolney up and into the 11th spot. Haynes up a couple spots. Brandon Carr as well. They both have made up ground. It was all kind of started there with Jacob Kolar in the 305 Vice Racing Black and Blue Kart Republic getting pushed off the racetrack at the exit of turn 8. And then right as he did up the road, Paulie was able to find a gap and send it on Frankie, and then everyone just kind of bottled up from there. So your new order, Hayden Jones, Paulie Massimino, Frankie Mossman. Big move there in turn 8. He's got to be really careful not to open up too hard for the corner, but he's just trying to hit the reset button. You know, he really was ready to go to the lead a moment ago, and then when Jones covered the low side and Frankie went even lower, he got his tires all dirty and offline, and needs about a lap of separation to get back to hitting good marks again. So now I think he can start to roll back forward. He's fended off Ryan Norberg, and he's going to be able to charge back up, because up until that moment, I thought he looked like one of the best karts on the racetrack, and now he's just going to get back to that kind of momentum as Dalton Haynes gets around his good buddy Brandon Carr for that 7th position.
Yeah, Dalton now going to work his way into the 7th position on an SLA Kart Racing OTK kart. But yeah, I mean, between these two in 2nd and 3rd, Xander, talk Paulie Massimino and Frankie Mossman real quick. These two, yeah, they did fight a little bit earlier, but, you know, Paulie sees that gap slowly getting bigger to Hayden. And, yeah, I mean, they're in an RPG sandwich right now. Either way you go, the best way is, you know, to go forward and get closer to Hayden, because if they get any closer back to Ryan, Ryan's definitely going to plant the attack.
We were talking and giving a lot of love to Dalton and Paulie as Jacob Kolar with has a big send right there on Brandon Carr. And Carr says, yeah, that was a little too much. I'm going to take that spot back in turn 3. But, you know, Hayden Jones, I don't think gets enough credit sometimes. You know, he's known around here as this being his home racetrack. And yes, that is true that, you know, as he was developing as a junior and early, you know, rookie and sophomore senior driver while he was still in high school, he did spend a lot of laps here. He did do a lot of training here and did do some coaching and development of the next generation. But Hayden goes to school, goes to college off in Virginia, studying an engineering, mechanical engineering degree. He's not at the racetrack every week. He's not even racing more than a handful of times on the year. And yet still, we're watching him hold back Paulie Massimino, who knows every inch of this place. Frankie Mossman, who's been wicked fast. And there's really nobody more consistent in our sport than Ryan Norberg. Hayden has yet to put a wheel wrong, yet to give up any speed. And while they're able to close up a little bit in the draft, he's keeping them right at that 3/10 buffer where he can just hit his marks and focus. And I think you definitely got to say, you know, well done right now for Hayden Jones. As Norberg, a little rare slide and mistake in turn 6 is going to put him under pressure. He's going to feel it from Carter McMurray. He goes low and actually got into the back of Mossman. And Carter's going to get by. Terlecki will get by. Terlecki actually into the side of McMurray, who did not see him coming down the inside. And now it is Terlecki to 4th, McMurray to 5th. Norberg back to 6th, a rare mistake out of 9-timer, and Dalton Haynes now is trying to get him to go back to 7th, and here he goes, big send to the inside in turn 1. Dalton Haynes up to P6.
Yeah, Dalton Haynes slowly working his way back forward here, getting by Norberg, and you know, right behind Norberg is Jacob Kolar, and I'm sure Jacob's going to be looking on him here. Yeah, Norberg feeling it a little bit, going to half block there, still going to hold the position behind Dalton Haynes. But yeah, Paulie finally getting up to the rear bumper of Hayden Jones here. And we're going to see what he's going to do with, I believe, 6 to go. Down the inside in turn 8. No contact, clean move, going to get up into the P1 position.
That'll bring Frankie Mossman back into the mix. They still have a little bit of breathing room back to Nicholas Terlecki. Jones leading the first half. Paulie Massimino would like to lead the last half. At the line, 9 down, 6 laps to go. 3-driver breakaway here in X30 Pro with Moore lined up behind. And I think with Ryan Norberg slipping back all the way to the 9th spot now, it's really a testament that at the moment, at least on heat cycle number 2, session number 2 on this set of MG yellow tires, it's not so much tire wear, but it's cleanliness of the tire and probably a bit of tire temperature, as you were bringing up with a great point, Jerry, that, you know, again, going offline or sliding the tires like Ryan did in turn 6 that opened the door of opportunity for Carter to get by. You just can't afford to have those mistakes because the drivers that are driving hard up front, making passes, going to the inside, those tires are not going to fall off, at least at this point in the weekend. We might see some fall off by the superheat, but right now, to me, it's all about keeping the cart on the clean part of the racetrack and not going backwards. As we see Dalton now moving forward again. That'll put him in the top 5 on that SLA Sodi.
Yeah, now Dalton's going to point forward, and Nick asking him for a little bit of help so they can continue to move forward to that lead group. I'm sure that's what Dalton has his eyes set on. And yeah, Jones now down the inside of Paulie here into the ball. Going to get the move done. Not a lot of time loss really there to that second group, so that's a pretty good move there for Hayden. Pretty calculated. And yeah, through 5 and 6 here. And now going down to this little short shoot here into the turn 8 hairpin. And yeah, Massimino down the inside. Frankie going to push him through. Hayden holding it. Oh, into the grass.
Hayden Jones tried to keep it going on the outside, and Frankie Mossman said nowhere for you to take that. He's going to go back now. McMurray knows Hayden's going to have dirt on the tires, so he told him to go forward. To be fair, Carter didn't stuff him in the last turn, but he's got to go. Hayden Jones now going to lose another spot. 1, 2 loss. Haynes is through. Terlecki is through. Here comes Brandon Carr trying to get to the inside. Hayden Jones, from leading the first half of this race, is now just fighting for his life. And he's gone all the way back to where Jacob Kolar and his teammate Ryan Norberg reside at the back of the top 10. So with 3.5 laps remaining, it's Paulie Massimino, a couple tenths to Frankie Mossman, and rookie Carter McMurray in 3rd, although he won't have it for long. Dalton Haynes, the reigning champ of this event, into P3 here in heat number 1.
Yeah, now with 3 laps to go, I don't think Dalton's going to have enough time, you know, unless he gets a little bit of help from the lead 2 fighting. But yeah. Good for him to get up into the 3rd spot, and he's gonna need some help if he wants to get up there.
It's a good points haul for sure, and it should put him in pretty good footing to try and at least pull another top 10 out of the bag in heat 2 and heat 3 tomorrow and punch his ticket to the shootout for the MG Tires X30 division shootout race that headlines our Saturday night live broadcast. So third for Haynes, fourth for Carter McMurray, who is, again, only in his second national level X30 Pro debut, and he is looking mighty strong. He's got a lot of laps on the package here, running in the senior pro class locally at Trackhouse Motorplex, but it's a different animal when you get to a 4-day race weekend with rubber laying down, changing the track surface. We're doing the IAME Grands where the track layout is changed as well. As Brandon Carr goes by, he'll crack the top 5, but I think most importantly of all, as Nick Eggleston put it, these top-level drivers, they do not make a lot of mistakes. If you make one, they're going to make you pay, and we've already seen Norberg suffer and Jones suffer, and now with a big gap, we're going to see Massimino and Mossman try to force a mistake out of each other as they begin to dance here with a lap and a half to go.
Yeah, lap and a half to go here at Trackhouse Motorplex. Paulie Massimino still leading, Frankie Mossman in tow, but I'm sure he's going to be looking here into 8 for the move. Paulie going to go middle of the track, fend off, and I believe Nick Terlecki went down the inside, but that didn't really work for him on Hayden Jones there. I think Terlecki lost a couple of moves back there. Paulie Massimino still defending for the P1, and that's going to bring the third position of Dalton Haynes, Carter McMurray, and Brandon Carr into the fight, Xander.
Paulie Massimino knows how to keep him behind, but look at this. They all stacked up, and now it is Haynes to the inside for second. White flag in the air. He'll go by on Mossman. Dalton Haynes with a shot to maybe go to the win. He's a couple car lengths back, and he needs a perfect run through 3, a toe down to 4. He'll have to block low. Luckily, he was close enough that Massimino did the same, and look at Carter. McMurray trying the high side in the bowl. He'll get run on a racetrack, though, by Carr. Drop back into line in 5th, and Jones is back in the mix again in 6th. Yeah. Dalton Haynes, Massimino to turn 8, Jerry.
Yeah, he was able to slide in there. Massimino to the inside, and now Frankie around the outside, not going to hold that. McMurray's going to get ran out a little bit by Hayden. Massimino still to the inside, everyone sliding in. Hayden Jones around the outside, going to try to hold it rough. Is it going to work? Yes, it is, but he's now on the outside for the last corner.
Side by side, everyone on the low side. Look at Hayden again, sending it to the high side. Massimino with a problem. Jones is going to win it. Hayden Jones around the outside is Paulie Massimino. Something happened there coming to the line, and the 308 crosses in 8th. Hayden Jones did a Superman move around the outside. Paulie was parking it on the bottom to defend the lead, and I don't know if he stalled the cart, if the chain knocked off. You see he is just coasted down the front straightaway, and Paulie Massimino in the last 300 feet to the checkered flag has the cart fail. And I'd have to imagine that with all the contact, with how stacked up they were behind him, Jerry, that there must have just been contact at the right, perfect angle, because he didn't hit the curb. He was over in the runoff, the same lines he did all day long. And talk about close. I mean, folks, the entire top 8, less than 6/10 apart as they cross the line. You can't ask for more action than that. And, well, we got to break it back down and potentially even after this recap go back and slow-mo it to really see what transpired in that X30 Pro opening heat race. What a battle, and man, it is so fun to watch this class when all these drivers were able to hit it right, run on the limit, and end up looking like a pack race just like KA racing here. And it all started with Hayden Jones and Paulie Massimino on the front row, and Nick Eggleston got put 3 wide to the high side. Norberg got to the inside as well as Terlecki, and he ended up bouncing it through the grass, and unfortunately that was the last we really saw Nick's, as he was just really trying to fight back forward for a lot of the race from that one moment in turns 1 and 2. And then here, early on, it looked like we were kind of going to witness a Ryan Norberg masterclass. He worked his way up to 4th from qualifying 7th. Drivers behind there, Justin Anaconis and a few others going wide. But Dalton Haynes was doing the same. Brandon Carr as well. Both of them trying to pick apart the field and make their way up the grid. They did just that, got into the top 10. You heard from Dalton on the interview. He felt like he and Brandon were two of the best. But one mistake, a rare mistake, out of Ryan Norberg in turn 8 opened the door for everyone to start taking swings at him and each other. McMurray and Terlecki, then Dalton sending it down the inside on Norberg. Even Jacob Kolar getting in on the mix there with the 9-time pro champ. But at the front, his teammate Hayden Jones had been leading all this time until Paulie got by him, and they were still pretty far away from this group here. McMurray, Haynes, Terlecki, Carr, Dalton Haynes and Brandon Carr, they did a great job getting up to 4th and 5th. and it looked like it was just going to be a 1-2-3 run until things started to get crazy up front, Jerry. First, Hayden Jones into the dirt, and then everyone freight training the 316, sending him to the high side. He'd go all the way back to around 8th at this point as Kolar, his teammate in Norberg going by, and then Dalton getting to 4th. You even said it yourself. We're like, all right, that's good. I think that's all she wrote.
Yeah, and then from there, it just seems like these two, Frankie and Paulie, decided to fight it out, as there was also fighting at the same time in the rear. But yeah, like you said, they finally got there. And then here going into the first corner with the white flag in the air, Paulie to the lead, Massimino down to third, Paulie to the lead, Mossman down to third. And then around the last corner, it just looks like
he didn't even get any contact, really.
Yeah.
I mean, you look at it.
It just kind of stalls.
Yeah, he put his hand in the air going, what in the world just happened? The motor just, completely, I thought for a moment maybe he got hit going into the last turn there, but, Dalton actually gave him a little gap. But Paulie Massimino, well, at least he's going to the KA shootout with a good performance from the numbers that we've got. Sadly, what should have probably been a heat race victory at the last couple hundred feet ends up with an 8th place result. Could have been a lot worse still too, Jerry, but this is the best start to an IAME Grand Nationals Paulie has had over the 3 editions thus far, and now here on edition number 4 of this event. And he doesn't get any credit to show for it. P8 for the 308. Ryan Norberg stays in the hunt, ends up 7th. Hayden Jones should not have been anywhere close to the race win, but he continuously, 2 turns in a row, shipped it around the high side and went from what was like 6th or 7th going into turn 8 on that last lap to the lead and the win. A bit of luck, a bit of attrition in the case of Paulie breaking down in front of Dalton Haynes and the rest of the field, but credit where credit's due, man. Heck of a run for Hayden Jones. That was awesome.
Yeah, even with the white flag around corners, I believe 9 and 10, I was like, okay, Hayden around the outside. And then from there I was like, okay, well, now he's on the outside for the last corner. And then, yeah, he was just able to stick it around and, somehow through attrition just get the win. It was very impressive.
We're going to switch over, folks, here in a few moments to the live feed and count things down from the CNC PEKA shootout. I know we're going to get probably some more intel as well from some of our top finishers, including our race winner. There he is down on pit lane. We see Alex and Kendall. We're going to head down to you with Hayden Jones after that heat race victory. That was crazy, and there was a lot to check in on with the way that heat race went. So they're getting ready to talk with our top X30 Pro drivers. And the wind is also picking up quite a bit here from what I can see outside as well. So we've got a lot to catch up on here. And again, all that's going to happen in just a matter of moments. So we're going to take a quick commercial break. We'll come back. You can see the breeze picking up. But Trackhouse Motorplex, Plano's the IAME Grands. We'll be right back.
Are you ready to get behind the wheel? From Formula One to NASCAR and IndyCar, all the pros start here. For more information, check us out online at mcckarting.com or call us and go racing today.
I need a new 219 chain. I need a 77 tooth sprocket. I need some more chain lube, and I need it probably as soon as tomorrow. Dude, are you even listening? We need this to run this weekend.
Want anything else?
What do you mean?
I already got it in the Kart on Acceleration Kart Racing's online store, bro. All orders over $200 get free shipping.
Oh, throw in a set of tires.
Done.
Everything you need, all in one place and shipped to your door for free on orders of $200 or more. Exclusions apply. Shop akr.com.
I'm David Serra, 18-time Australian karting champion, and we're launching Kart Class. Kart Class is an advanced digital training program that suits a driver who's just starting out in the sport, all the way to the driver looking to win a national championship. In this program, you're going to be learning about how to find the ideal racing line and what an apex is. Braking and throttle markers, wet weather racing lines, and how to overtake other competitors. We target how to brake in the wet weather, and we look on the mental side of kart racing as well with our mental skills coach. At the completion of this program, you'll be lighting up purple sectors in qualifying, know when to defend on the opening laps, and how to pressure your opposition into mistakes. We teach you the tools to be resilient and how to get in the right frame of mind before a race. We look to complete the whole package by getting a strong mindset, a driving style to suit all conditions, strategizing your race, and getting the last 1% from your team. We'll teach you how to win the final lap of a race, driving the wet like Max Verstappen, and creating the perfect bubble for yourself to mentally be in the zone. To find out more, click the link below.
Are you ready to get behind the wheel?
Hayden Jones. Hayden, as the weather starts to kick in a little bit, raindrops are in the air and it's getting really windy, but you pulled off one of the coolest moves that I've seen in quite some time around Trackhouse. Is that a move that you knew you could do, or you just said, you know what, I'm on the outside here, I have nothing else that I can do, just steam it around the outside?
Yeah, no, I did not think I was going to do that because I came out of turn 8 on the outside, going through the double right on the outside, and then I just got stuck there. So I was like, well, the only thing I could do is commit. So I committed, and it worked out in my favor.
How much confidence does this heat race give you heading into, you know, tomorrow's heats and then obviously the shootout, considering that you make the shootout? So, I mean, you got pushed out the top 8 or so in this race, came back to win it, obviously. Do you feel like you have a good piece throughout the long runs?
I think so. I think we got to work a little bit, but, you know, everyone's super close, so it's going to be every man for themselves. You don't know who's going to win each heat, so we're just going to try and make the kart as best as it can be, and I'll drive as best I can and see if we can win.
What was it like from inside the cockpit? Because the racing seemed pretty aggressive out there.
Yeah, it is pretty aggressive. You know, Paulie, Dalton, all the people that I'm usually racing here with are, you know, I'm pretty used to it, but it's super aggressive because you have all the other people that come in for this race, and, you know, they race a little differently, so you got to come up to their standards.
Thank you, Hayden. Good job.
Thank you.
All right, we're going to bring in Carter McMurray now. Carter, as we watch out for the John Deere tractor coming through, but
there you have it.
Carter
from
McMurray,
Hayden
I'd say.
Jones, and we'll go down here to Carter McMurray as well. Sorry, Alex. Didn't realize you were already going. That's my bad. You were good.
All good, Xander. Carter, you ran your first X30 Pro National event at MCC. Do you feel like that kind of helped you out here heading into this weekend as the wind really picks up here? So I'll make it one question for you.
I definitely thought so. Being able to race against these guys and kind of like get to know them a little bit definitely helped quite a bit. But it's nice being back at home. This is my home track. I have so many laps here, and I feel like I really showcased what I can do in that heat.
Yeah, I mean, at MCC, I think you got rubbed around a little bit. Some elbow grease was definitely shared, but this time around, I think you kind of fought back a little more than we would have expected from you. So do you think now you've kind of put yourself into that club of, I'm part of this X30 Pro class?
I don't really think anybody has like a certain division that they're in. I feel like everybody races each other the same, but I feel like maybe that I have done that, probably not. But yeah, I feel like I definitely raced a lot better that time.
All right, thank you, Carter. Go stay dry.
Yeah, you too.
Well, as you can see, folks, we're starting to get a bit of liquid sunshine, a little bit of rain here in the vicinity, and we again are under lightning delay right now for this run into the shootout races. A quick reminder for those of you looking for your favorite driver to get into the KA shootout, the fan vote will be closing soon. We're just moments away from concluding the winner of the KA Shootout fan vote. Aiden Levy was leading the vote. He has raced his way in on points. So make sure to continue to share and make sure your friends all know to comment. Everyone gets one vote per name and per one driver to vote for and one vote per person on Facebook. So check out the Kart Chaser Facebook page. Continue to share it around and see if you can get your favorite driver into the CNC Performance Engineering KA Shootout. But for now, we're under the weather delay. We'll switch over to the live feed while we continue to wait and get things going here soon with our shootout races tonight.